We go. How is everybody doing?
Yeah, doing okay.
I take it you succumbed to the darkness earlier today, David?
Oh, did I succumb? All right.
Please tell me which seat you succumb in to make sure I don't go in that
It
cinema
was
screen.
F9, Neil. F9 screen two.
Oh,
Right,
that's a
never going
nice
in
In
screen
seat.
two.
Ashford, though. Ashford.
Oh,
So,
that's okay. I don't go to Ashford unless it's
yeah.
IMAX. We're all good.
I got time off work just to see this film.
That was Providence, David. Providence!
It was worth it, Neil.
Hi, and welcome to the We Need Roads podcast. And this is hopefully just the one episode on all the TV shows we're excited to see in 2025. And today I am joined by David. How are you doing, David?
I'm good, thank you, Neil. How are you? Happy New Year. Happy New
Happy
Year,
New Year,
everybody.
everyone.
Yeah.
We're totally definitely recording in 2025 now.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, this isn't like a pretend New Year thing.
Because that went so well last time.
If you see my script, it's just your names now. I haven't even bothered. I just like, no. You don't get cool intros if you're going to ruin them.
That's why you can't have nice things, Neil.
Exactly, David. That's why we can't have nice things. And we welcome Marie. How you going, Marie?
Yeah, doing all right. Survived the new year and my drink fest of 2024.
Fest.
It's a way to end the year, to be fair.
To be honest, I was more sober this year than I was last year. I don't know what was
Interesting.
what got into me. Maybe I'm just getting old, but
Clearly not enough alcohol by the sounds of things.
yeah, there was definitely more gin left than there was last year.
Oh, gin. Okay.
And Jose.
I'm well. I don't know if you can tell through my voice. I just barely avoided getting sick. I'm feeling much better in the last 3 days. Not very productive work-wise, but I rested and I feel pretty good. Pretty good considering. So I'm looking forward to the weekend of 3 days of work.
Oh, cool. And
Yes.
this is obviously your relaxing time then, Jose. This is your relaxing time.
Yes, very relaxing.
And, dear listener, dear viewer, we may also have a surprise guest popping in a little bit later, potentially
Yay.
if they get done with a big business meeting. It's no one that important. I made it sound
Who can
way,
it
way
be?
cooler.
Yeah.
Who
We
could it
did
be?
already mention that as well earlier.
You know,
Ben
I
was
think
gonna
he's
join.
pretty cool.
You,
But that was before the actual pod was going to start, David. That was before the
was
pod
it? Okay. I didn't say the name. Shh.
You were so close. I might have to beep you. Anyway, we are here to talk about TV in this episode. And there's so many TV shows. And we're going to keep it under 4.5 hours today, aren't we, everyone? Aren't we?
Oh,
4
don't
hours,
look at us.
solidly.
Look at yourself.
Yeah,
Look at yourself.
you're the one who made
Put
the
a big
list.
mirror up.
Let me just say, if you have nothing to say about the show, then don't say anything about the show. But don't be dicks and say nothing about every show and then we get through it in like 20 minutes, because that could also happen, which is exactly what I know Jose and David might do.
This
to be
is
dicks.
not
Moving
going to
on.
end in 20 minutes. This
this-
intro's taking 20 minutes.
Okay, and the first show we're going to talk about is an Apple TV show, and that show is called... Oh, look how excited Marie is already before I even said the word. Marie, introduce the first show we're going to talk about today.
Murderbot. Oh, I am honestly so unbelievably excited about this. This will either be like the best show of the year for me or the worst, depending how they've adapted it. I mean, it's set to come out this year, but since they announced it, I don't think I've heard anything. Like, I mean, they have got the cast, but I haven't seen like photos. I haven't seen like a teaser or a trailer. So I'm really, really hoping that it's on its way and it's good and they're not hiding anything.
And yeah, well, let's just quickly tell people what Murderbot is. And Murderbot, according to the synopsis, is a sentient security android that calls itself Murderbot, must mask its ability for free thought while completing dangerous assignments, and is simultaneously drawn to humans and appalled at their weakness. And
Yeah.
of course, our Murderbot is another Skarsgård. Once
Right.
again, starting
Which
the
is
year
great
with a
casting.
Skarsgård.
Which is great casting. Yeah, let me sell you the premise of the story and hopefully the show in one sentence. So imagine the Terminator, but with extreme depression, and all he wants to do is sit in his room and watch TV all day, but the pesky humans he's sworn to protect keep getting into trouble. That is the vibe of Murderbot. Just, and so
That should be
basically,
on the trailer
basically
for
me
Murderbot.
as a robot. Basically, if I was a robot. I've never related to a character more because this is a book series by Martha Wells. I adore this series. This is my all-time, like one of my top 10 sci-fi series. I love this book series so much. The first book, I believe, is still free on Audible. And
Oh.
it is, I think, around 3 hours, 17 minutes because it's a novella, so probably shorter than this episode. So there's no excuse not to check it out.
Murderbot shade.
But which is why I'm curious, like what parts, because I think the first 3 to 4 books are novellas, so they're very, very short. So if they're going to combine them, if they're going to do like each, and then another thing that I'm like a bit worried about the show, the brilliance of the series is that it's told and through Murderbot's perspective. So there's a lot of inner dialogue. The inner dialogue is fucking hilarious in this book series, and inner dialogue translates really difficult to the screen.
It
in
could
my
be like
opinion.
Bad Monkey, because there's a lot of dialogue in that one, like narration.
Yeah, I mean, they could, and, like, there's a way of doing it well, but I'm a bit worried about it.
I know nothing about this really, other than what you've told us, Marie. But I'm just looking at the cast list. You've got David Dasmalchian as well, so Polka Dot Man is in this as well. And but judging by the order of the cast, he is like the second most important person in the cast.
Mm-hmm.
How many books are in the series?
I think currently there's a total of 5. I think.
Okay, so at least 2 to 3 seasons easily if they mash up some seasons.
And it's not finished yet. It's not concluded. The series is
Awesome.
still ongoing.
And it's not Netflix, so it's gonna survive.
Yes, and like it's Apple TV, so like there's hope.
Oh, yeah.
There's hope.
Even the
Apple
bad
TV.
Apple TV stuff. I mean, we love our Apple TV stuff. Let's be honest.
It's my favorite streaming site. So
I mean, yeah, they have had a couple of like misfires on sci-fi shows in the last year. Like Dark Matter, a Blake Crouch book that I read that was brilliant, and then the show was so boring, and I just checked out of it. And they really ruined it. Like, there's a brilliant twist, and I was like, oh, when I was reading the book last year before the show came out, I was like, that's where the first episode's going to end. And no, they gave away that twist in the trailer for the show. I'm like, no, I know you want people to watch it, but you've given away. If you just did it normally and then revealed that twist, people would be like, oh, I got to watch the next episode. Not just like, oh, we're scared no one's going to watch. It's Apple. We will watch whatever your show is. David, Murderbot, are you excited?
I told you.
I'll watch it because I'm going to get my Apple TV subscription back with another show that we're going to talk about later on. Because we're doing, I thought this was in alphabetical order, but I don't think it is because we started with them.
Yeah, no.
You do go into alphabetical order later on, though, don't you?
I don't know. It's cribbed together from
any reason
because I was really
order.
impressed by how you'd done it. But anyway, no, Murderbot. I'll probably watch it when it comes out, and I think like the premise of a depressed T800 not wanting to kill Sarah Connors sounds fair. But does he want to kill Sarah?
Well, no, he doesn't.
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
No, that's the point. He has.
Why? I just want to know why he
reference.
calls himself Murderbot. Like, that's a bit of a red flag as a name.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the point. He is a murderbot. He has the power to just kill everyone in a room, but he honestly just wants to watch TV all day. That's what he wants to do with his life.
That's how I feel.
It's actually the opening line of the book. That is the opening line of the book. He's like, I could kill everyone here, but I just want to watch TV. Like, I'm paraphrasing here, but that's basically the opening line of the book.
I mean, that's how I feel some weeks on this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, as I said, extremely relatable. It's extremely relatable.
Well, Murderbot comes to Apple TV Plus on June the 4th, so not that far away. We have a date and 10 episodes as well.
Nice.
Now, next up, a show that has been through the ringer, because it should have been out by now, and it's been delayed a lot. And that show, well, you can almost say it's been born again. Daredevil Born Again. Terrible segues included. We are getting the Disney Plus version of Daredevil, played by Charlie Cox. And after the Netflix series, and we had the Defenders, and then they was like, bye-bye to all non-Marvel properties on other channels. Everyone thought that was it. And then we obviously had Charlie Cox's cameo in Spider-Man. And then we had Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin come back in, I want to say...
Hawkeye.
And then he was also in Echo, which everyone forgot about, but he was in Echo as well.
I forgot the show.
And everyone did, Jose. Everyone did. The problem is, I remember they was working on this, and they'd recast Vanessa Fisk, which everyone was like, but why? And also, they hadn't rehired Deborah Allen Moore and Eldon Henson as Karen and Foggy. And everyone was like, but you can't do the show without them. and Marvel just kept plugging away. Yeah, so when we had the writer's strike, Feige actually got to look at everything that was coming across his table and was like, wait a minute, I remember reading this. He was like, there was something where he said, right, it's a courtroom drama, and he hasn't put the suit on until the 4th episode. What are we doing here, people? And then cleverly, well, not cleverly, because of fan outrage, they rehired Deborah Ann Wool, they rehired Eldon Henson, they rehired Azura as Vanessa, and they also was like, oh yeah, we probably should bring back Joe Bernathal's The Punisher as well, because he was fucking awesome. I still, today, for me, The Punisher show was my favourite of all the Netflix Marvel shows that came out. It was so brutal. Like, it would make you wince. The violence was so bad in it. And also, whoever done it loved Alice in Chains, one of my favourite bands. And there was so many awesome Alice in Chains songs in it as well. I just, loved it. So they overhauled the show. They got rid of a lot of it. They started again. And it is coming out. Well, I'll tell you that in a minute. Marie, excited about Daredevil?
I really am. I was so devastated when I heard that they canceled these shows. I think I even mentioned them in the top 10 canceled shows list. I think when like season 1 of Daredevil came out, like we did not know what to expect, and then it was just so fucking good. And it was like really cool. And then like there was always like this, is it part of the MCU? Is it not? Because they kept making references, but then like it's like, oh, you don't have the rights. I still remember they kept mentioning like the big green guy referring to the Hulk. I think like it didn't reach the highs that it did in season 1.
No.
I cannot remember the other 2 seasons all too well. And then Defenders was a big letdown, in my opinion.
Ooh,
I really hated the Defenders.
Yeah, wasn't a fan.
It was just... Yeah, like we were all expecting an Avengers style team up, and it didn't deliver. It was just fell quite flat. But I'm really
because the focus was Iron Wanker.
Yeah,
Iron Fist.
Yeah, no, leave him in the Netflix graveyard. But like,
do you don't think they could redeem him as a character with the
no,
burn him, kill it with fire?
Definitely
really?
not.
Even recasting, but. I see. Here's the thing: is I didn't watch Iron Fist.
Look at him; he's so sad.
Is that because you're the only person who asked for his autograph, David?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I have nothing against the guy. It's just the Iron Fist, the story, everything was terrible about it. It's just, the show was absolutely awful.
I never saw it because everyone told me to avoid it, so I skipped it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw.
You listen to your friends, Jose.
Yeah, because there were 2 seasons, right?
No, just 1 season of Iron Fist.
There was just 1 season?
Wait, was there a second season?
I think there was a second season. I'm not.
How?
Mandela.
Why?
Here. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. So I'm happy that they brought these characters back. Iron Fist can stay in Netflix jail, but I'm really hoping we're getting Jessica Jones at one point, because that was my favorite Netflix show. I adore Jessica Jones, and I just want to see her back again. And hopefully this opens the doors.
David.
No, I won't be watching it. No, I did watch the Daredevil back in Disney Plus. Netflix. Sorry.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I sort of checked out of it when the other 3 shows. So when Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and the Iron
second
Fist...
season, then probably
was it second season?
I think so. Yeah, because Daredevil was the first one.
I feel like I watched 2.
Yeah. You might watch 2 then.
Yeah.
Because Daredevil was the first one, and then that was Fisk.
I mean, I couldn't tell you I mean, I know Fisk was the villain. I remember him being fantastic, and he was the best thing about the show. I really liked him, and then, I watched the Punisher episodes as well. I remember that.
That was
I watched the first season of Jessica Jones, and then I sort of just checked out. Even though I really liked the first season of Jessica Jones.
Yeah, first season was brilliant. Second season was just okay.
Yeah, I agree with that as like a massive Jessica Jones fan.
And then I never watched Luke Cage, and I never watched Iron Fist.
I struggled through Luke Cage.
So I'm not going to watch this.
I'm defending Luke Cage here. Luke Cage was also really, really good. I mean, Mahershala Ali was brilliant in it, but of course he's now been recast in the MCU as well.
Has he?
Are we getting a Blade movie? Who knows at this point? But
Wesley Snipes probably does.
But I defend. I thought Luke Cage, at least season 1, was really, really solid.
There was 2 seasons of that as well.
I'm pretty sure, yes.
I feel like there was Daredevil got 3, then like a few got 2, and then the other ones just got 1, and then I was like, oh yeah, these other shows aren't doing as well. Let's just wrap it all up in the Defenders and go home. Jose, Daredevil.
All right, so For the record, I am actually really excited about Daredevil, not just because I thought it was a great show on Netflix, but also because of the potential of the Defenders again coming back. I feel like they had such a good structure, like they had such a good core to what the stories told on Netflix that Marvel, especially now that they redid the Daredevil show, they're gonna bring back, I feel like, the other characters and make them really good.
Some of
Especially
them.
now, I'm hopeful. I'm definitely
Fuck
hopeful.
Iron Fist.
Yeah.
But if anything, I feel not that they have the backing of Disney money and Marvel's own money, that these has potential to just create some great stories. So I'm really excited.
They did a decent job with Netflix money, so it's
Right. Yeah.
My only worry is that they might have to tone down the violence a little bit because The Punisher was holy fuck. I can't believe they've done that. And even Daredevil had some like stuff in it. He was like, but then again, Marvel, they on TV they can do what they want really. And
Yeah.
as Deadpool and Wolverine has proved, fuck it.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that horror movie, the werewolf,
Werewolf at Night. Yeah, I'd love to see those characters come back. That was awesome fun. Right. So Daredevil Born Again is not far away at all, people. March 4th, but only a 9-episode first season, which implies they've already commissioned the second series, and it will be part of Phase 5 of the MCU. Moving on.
Talking about horror TV shows.
Yes, Welcome to Derry, which is not a Derry Girls spin-off.
I thought it was honestly that.
I thought it was as well when I saw the title.
No, it is, and it's prequel with Bill Skarsgård. Again, I know nothing else about this show. Does anyone know anything else about this show other than it's coming out this year?
I didn't know about the show.
What is your opinion? Would you watch it? Or are you?
My opinion, it's going to make money because it as a horror franchise is huge. It's made so much money. So this is going to be
we got that wrong in the Halloween quiz. Well,
when this starts dropping, yeah.
I got it right. They didn't listen to me.
So when this starts dropping, it's like teasers and it's trailers and all that sort of stuff. It's it'll ramp up a lot more. I think this is probably not going to be this year. I would imagine it'll be next year.
I say with Bill Skarsgård, it's going to be good. He wouldn't return.
Mm-hmm. Well, only because his output last year was a bit patchy. The Crow.
Hey,
Boy Kills World.
Hey, those had a lot of money behind them just because he tried things.
That doesn't mean they're good.
Don't defend The Crow, man. That was just garbage.
Okay, Boy Kills World. Come on, he tried.
It was fun. Well, you know what? Yeah, that annoys me more than The Crow. The Crow is just a bereft piece of shit. Whereas Boy Kills World had some really good ideas and then failed. That's what annoyed me. It had some really good stuff and then it failed. That annoys me more. When you've got something really cool and clever, and then you don't push through on it. So, Welcome to Derry. It's horror, so Marie's definitely probably not going to watch it. No. David will be there first episode, streaming it into his eyeballs. And Jose is rather meh. I'm in the meh camp at the minute.
I don't do clowns.
Fair enough.
He might not be a clown. He can manifest as anything. It probably will be a clown because that's what everybody knows.
Yeah, also, and a giant spider. Either of those do not sound appealing to me.
And also, there should be 9 episodes in this series whenever it drops, because we don't have a date yet. It's HBO, so Sky Atlantic in the UK. Yeah. Next up, we have a show that it's going to be so hard to become a hit because it's based on 2 classic films that critics love and make absolutely no money. And that is Blade Runner 2099, coming out on Prime Video later this year. And it is created by Silka Louisa for Amazon Prime, and it is serving as a sequel to Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049. And all we know about this show so far is Michelle Yeoh is in the lead as Olin, a replicant facing the end of her life, and Hunter Schafer's in it as Cora. That, again, this is the only information we have on this, but it is due out this year. Blade Runner show, anyone?
I mean, yeah, I'd say the Blade Runner as a film set, like it could get fleshed out into. I can see how it can be fleshed out into a TV show. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm really interested in it, or I'm gonna, I'm subscribed to Prime anyway. But would I subscribe specifically for this show?
No,
probably not. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to watch it because I already am.
I mean, Michelle Yeoh is pretty much we'll give it a go, isn't it? Like she's in something now. You're like, yeah.
I'm a fan of hers.
And Hunter Schafer was really good. They were in, what was the film they made their name in earlier in the year? Cuckoo. the Dan Stevens German sanitarium horror film. And that's the first time, because I think, didn't Hunter Schafer make their name in, I want to say Euphoria or something like that? That was the first time I saw them in Cuckoo, and I was like, that's a really good performance. And next up, we have a show that I am very excited about because of the premise and because of the creatives behind it. And that show is Alien Earth. Oh, yeah.
At the time of recording, there's a teaser trailer.
Thank you, Jose. Thank you for that nugget of information. But we know that because we've all watched it, haven't we, before we done this podcast?
Were we meant to?
I mean, did I not actually copy and paste it into the document because it's so hard to look up?
No, you
oh,
didn't.
no, because it's so hard to look up the shows that are in we're going to be talking about. Anyway, the premise for this show is when a mysterious space vessel crash lands on Earth, a young woman and a ragtag group of tactical soldiers make a fateful discovery that puts them face to face with the planet's greatest threat. Now, this is being written and directed by Noah Hawley, who created the Fargo TV series and then also did Legion, which was frankly bonkers. That is a definition of a show that had no right to work. Like, you've got the Coen Brothers film that won all the Oscars, and it was like, but it's a one-off film. Why would you make this into an anthology TV series? Because Noah Farley could, and he did a really good job of it. And now he's having a crack at Alien. And out of all the people that get involved with Alien, this is the one I'm actually more excited. This is what we're excited to see, right? Except, and this is the except is, apparently it's a prequel, and it will be set 2 years before the events of the original film. So I don't get it. How can they be on Earth before we've even found them in space? Doesn't make sense already for me, right?
Here's the thing is, if you forget about the intro to the first Alien, they are purposely stopped mid-flight and told a detour to the planet. How would they know that? I recently rewatched it, so
it all opens up a whole can of worms, doesn't it? Like setting it as a prequel.
Well, no, I think Jose just covered why there.
I mean, I'm excited for all the reasons that you have just given me, and the trailer, from what I saw, looks amazing. So
how many times have we wanted aliens on Earth, right? I mean, clearly we know it's not going to go on a massive rampage and kill loads of people. Whatever happens it's going to be contained in, hushed up by Weyland-Yutani, and then that's how you get to the film. And there'll be some link, probably at the end of the series, to the first film.
Yeah. My question is, how many seasons can you get out of this before you have to end it?
You could get as many. I mean, it says 2 years before the event of Aliens, so they're giving themselves like an Andor style timeline there, aren't they? It's not long before. But I am really interested in the cast as well. Or having said that, the lead, a woman called Wendy, has the body of an adult and the consciousness of a child. So that's Poor Things, I'm thinking right there, which is strange for an Alien TV show. But she's played by Sydney Chandler, who I've never heard of. But she's the actress daughter. Well, both those things. She's an actress and a daughter of Carl Chandler, the guy from Friday Night Lights. And Early Edition, if you're really knocking it back, Jose. That guy.
Oh, man, that's a throwback.
But then we have the man with probably the best hair in Hollywood, Timothy Olyphant. Oh, yeah. As Kirsch, Wendy's synth mentor and trainer. So he's basically going to be like a badass bishop by the sound of things. You got Essie Davis as Dame Sylvia. I have no idea what that means. She's a really good Aussie actress. Babu Cisse is a British actor who's really good in stuff. Lily Newmark, who I love in stuff, and she always gets killed off really early. She was a girl in episode 9 or 8 or 9 of The Three Body Problem who had that really good opening scene and then got hit by a bus or a car.
Oh, yeah.
She was a girl in season 1 of the only season of
Lock. She doesn't have much luck, God bless her.
Yeah. And of all people, British actor and comic legend Adrian Edmondson is in it. I mean, that's just got corporate bad guy written all over it because he's like, well, he basically looks like me, but older. So, yeah. Alien. Marie, are you excited for an Alien TV show?
I mean, I've kind of checked out of the Alien franchise, to be honest. Like, surprisingly, it may surprise you because it's a horror, but I do really love the first Alien movie and the second one as well. Although the second one is more action than horror, in my opinion. And that's the thing, like, setting it on Earth, like, what makes the first one so good is that enclosed setting of the spaceship where you have literally nowhere to run, and in space, no one can hear you scream concept.
David?
Again, I think Alien is a franchise that again can open itself up to being adapted well in TV. I don't like the teaser trailer. I don't like the feel. I like my Alien films to feel like I'm somebody that prefers Alien to Aliens, and I want my Alien to feel like the horror element of it to feel dark and gritty and sort of like smoky, if that makes sense. Slimy, yeah.
I think you're just describing having a cigarette, David.
Yes, I've never had one. But the teaser though felt kind of like the Jurassic World trailer watched when you want it to be Jurassic Park. Does that make sense? That's how I felt.
I get what you mean. I have got faith though in Noah Hawley, so I'm hopeful, very hopeful for this. Jose,
I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a big fan. I think
it's just recency bias because you only saw the trailer about 20 seconds ago.
Well, I think they're writing themselves into a corner, but because of Alien Romulus, it did a good job. I think it's better than maybe what most people are giving it. Like most people liked Alien Romulus. I really enjoyed it. So I am very hopeful for this as a series. I do think it should have an end that that's very solid. And but I'm really hopeful for this.
Yeah, I mean, my with it, what we're talking about last thing on this show, with Alien Romulus, I thought the first half hour, 45 minutes was superb.
I still haven't seen it, so don't spoil it.
Well, we won't spoil it, but
okay.
it did lots of world building. It did lots of learning about the people in the mining colony, about the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, and I was like, this is new, this is different, this is really good. I want more of this. I want to see about them being like corrupt assholes and like being dicks to the workers and the mining, actually seeing a mining colony. We don't see that in any of the other Alien films. We actually see a mining colony at the start of Romulus. My problem with Romulus is the second they get on the ship and stuff starts going wrong, it just becomes a tick list exercise in, right, we need to have this from Alien, we need to have this from another Alien film, we need that line, we need this cameo, and I was like, no, you were doing
Neil,
so
it's an alien movie. You can't stay on the planet.
You could have. That would have been a shocker. But that's what I can do with this TV show, though.
Yeah.
And that's what I can do with this TV show. Moving on. Next up, a Netflix show coming out in February, so really not too far along. And it is Robert De Niro's first ever TV show. Ooh, for the Netflix. And that show is called 0 Day, about a devastating global cyber attack. And it's got Robert De Niro, Leslie Kaplan, Jesse Plemons, Joan Allen, Connie Britton, Dan Stevens, Angela Bassett, Matthew Modine, and Bill Camp. So that's got a hell of a good cast. And hey, it must have been a decent script to get De Niro to stop saying yes to bad films.
I was about to say his standards aren't that high, so
no, yeah, it must. Yeah, I like the idea. I mean, global cyber attack, Netflix political thriller. The cast is great. I mean,
Are we thinking Al Pacino? Because Al Pacino's decisions are a lot more questionable, I think.
I would go the other way. I know De Niro's done a lot more damage to his cred over the years. Pacino just hasn't done as much in general.
Okay, I was gonna say that Adam Sandler movie where he did a Dunkin' Donuts commercial in the middle of it.
Right, but we're not talking about Al Pacino, are we, Jose?
No,
so there's no point going onto a segue for Al Pacino.
Jose, yeah. Do you like food?
Yes.
That I was just thought they probably haven't seen that advert. It's probably not played. The Uber advert.
Oh,
Did you get the Uber advert there? No.
I don't know what you were talking about.
Robert De Niro in the Uber advert.
Uber Eats advert.
I haven't seen that one.
Anyway, getting back from Robert De Niro's terrible adverts to Robert De Niro's potentially good Netflix show. Marie, any interest in a Robert De Niro political thriller?
No, to be honest, zero.
Absolute zero. David?
I don't think I've been thrilled by a cyber attack since Terminator.
1, 2, 3,
How
4,
is a
5.
cyber attack thrilling?
Die Hard 4?
I can't remember Die Hard 4, to be fair.
Sneakers.
Sneakers,
Die Hard 4.
I like Terminator. If it better be a Terminator style, I want to see Robert De Niro saving Sarah. This is the second time I've said Sarah Connor's in this episode.
John Connor.
John Connor. Oh, he's John Connor. He goes back in time.
Anyway, Jose.
Yes, am looking forward to this. Jesse Plemons is a big deal, and then Angela Bassett is the president. Come on, I feel like this could be a really good show.
Dan Stevens as Evan Green. He's going to be a villain. He's called Evan. No one good's called Evan. Apologies to anyone called Evan, but
I definitely thought you were going to be like, come on, no one's going to vote a woman as a president.
I mean,
how unrealistic is that?
It's
unfortunately
right
it's
now.
Like
Oh wait, what are we referring to?
More of a fantasy at this point.
Yes, it's still a fantasy.
Actual life, Jose. Actual life.
Yeah, we're this close. also.
Yeah.
Not really.
close.
Not really.
Not really.
Finally, this show is coming out on Netflix on February 20th. It doesn't say how many episodes, but hey, De Niro's in it, so it's going to be standard 8 to 10, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next up, another show on Prime. This show is Criminal. Not a description of the show. Well, actually, it's the name of the show and potentially a description of the show when you hear who's in it. This series follows multiple generations of criminal families and explores the murders that connect their pasts. And it's an upcoming American crime drama created by Ed Brubaker and Jordan Harper. And it is based on a Marvel comic book of the same name by Brubaker and Sean Phillips. And this show stars Charlie Hunnam, so Jax from Sons of Anarchy, a criminal mastermind who plans his jobs to use no guns or violence, unlike his father, Tommy. Richard Jenkins, he's still going, man. Ivan, a former robber, now suffering from dementia. How many times has Richard Jenkins played a guy suffering with dementia, man? I'm sure I've seen it at least 2 or 3 times already.
He's just
and
too
he is
good.
best friend. He's just that good at it. And he is best friends with Hunnam's dad. Adria Ajona, fresh off Hitman, is in this as a getaway driver and car thief.
Don't say it,
can't
Neil.
get-
Don't
What?
say it. The next one. I know what you're
You know
going
what I'm
to
gonna
say.
say. I
Don't
know
say
you-
it.
Okay, I'll try.
Don't
not
even
to.
think it, Neil. They'll come after us again.
They come after you all the time.
You're the one that said it.
Next, we have Adira Ajona as Greta, a getaway driver who can't get away from the criminal life even after being widowed on a job, and she is the mother of a small child called Angie. Next up, we have Amelia Clark as Mallory, an armed robber in the crew. And then we have Luke Evans as Tracy Lawless, a former criminal pushed into the military to avoid prison. So this sounds like a bunch of criminals.
Don't. Just keep your...
Hey,
No,
what's wrong?
what do we say every time we talk about our inner project? David?
You
We
say
hope-
every time.
We hope. This is the one.
I say that I hope. You're like, no,
I
she's
say
the
what
killer
we
of
hope.
franchises. She's the killer of franchises.
But this isn't a franchise, so it should be fine. It's the first of a new thing. It's not like a Marvel TV show. Rest in peace, Secret Invasion. It's not a Terminator franchise. Rest in peace, the Terminator franchise. So, hopefully she's good in it. I want her to be good in it, David.
This is
I
the
really do.
attitude. Okay, Neil, that's the attitude. to
positive.
take. That is it. Thank you.
So
I
Marie-
like Luke Evans as well. Sorry, I'm
Luke
throwing
Evans is
Luke
very good.
Evans in there. I wanted Luke Evans to be James Bond about 15 years ago. And he
Oh,
could
he
have
would
been
be
the
great
first,
Bond.
the first
Yeah.
gay James Bond, and I thought,
Hell
that
yeah.
would have been awesome. But
Is Luke Evans gay?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I completely missed that.
That's how good an actor he is, Jose.
I mean, it just didn't register. I feel like
That,
I
and
knew
to be
that.
fair, probably half of Hollywood, right?
Yeah. Like, because I think, there's another guy who's really good looking who's, I think, not
Chris
Suits,
Evans?
but no, it's not another guy with a really good jawline. And his show
Charlie
he was
Day.
in. Is it Charlie Day? No, that's Sunny in Philadelphia.
I thought it
Anyways,
was Charlie Day. Anyway, this doesn't matter. Marie, any interest in this show?
No, again, crime dramas don't really pull me in.
Yeah.
And I know Penguin was like our #1 show last year, but it's still in general the concept of crime dramas don't really interest me.
David.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to check in on this unless it gets like really good reviews and it's a real surprise, sort of like Shogun was last year. Unless it's something like that, I'm not going to check it out.
Jose.
I'm kind of interested. I feel like the fact that it's based off a comic series means there's already good source material. Previous
You would
shows like
think.
I mean, The Boys, Invincible, those are both shows that have comic basis, but they obviously have grown from it. Like The Boys obviously is not the same as its source material, and it was able
Definitely
to
not.
really grow from it. And it's Amazon. The Amazon is both those shows, and I think they've set a good precedent so far for growing from the source material.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping. This has got to have until we see a trailer or some images from it. Then we'll have a bit more idea of the tone. Like just from the description, it could be boring family drama with occasional bits of horrific violence,
I doubt
or
that.
it could be like a full-on action. We don't know what the show's going to be yet, do we? Next up, a show that it's all gone quiet on. I don't think we talked about this before, but this was an animated show. This would have been the first animated show we talked about this year, if it's actually still coming out, which I don't think it is. That show potentially is, maybe is, Judge Dredd Mega City 1. So, set in a future where the entire east coast of the United States has become one crowded metropolis, the show will feature an ensemble of judges, future law enforcers who are endowed with the power of a traditional judge, jury, and executioner as they attempt to curb crime in the 22nd century. And originally, the rumor was that Carl Urban was very happy to come back and do the voice for this. He's like, yep, I'll do it. I just need to know when it's been done. And the studio that was making it was called Rebellion. But the last time they posted anything saying, yeah, it's going ahead, was 2023. So, boo, it's all gone quiet. An animated Judge Dredd TV show, I think, would be awesome. Marie, ever read much of the Judge Dredd stuff?
No, never seen anything Judge Red saw. It's not a character that I've engaged with at all. I swear I have more things to say on the shows further down the list.
No,
I'm just like
that's...
no interest. Moving on.
David, Judge Dredd TV animation.
Nope.
Fair enough. Jose.
I mean, I really liked actually both Judge Dredd movies for different reasons. No. So I'm looking for
the correct answer is the first one was an affront to humanity, and the one with Carl Urban was an underrated masterpiece.
No, it's a complete masterpiece. People appreciate it. Don't talk ill of that one.
Where did you get me talking ill? I said it's an underappreciated masterpiece.
Yeah,
underappreciated masterpiece.
Yeah, I guess.
It's in more people should see it.
Yes, and there should be a freaking sequel. There should be a trilogy. That series is so good.
Quick shout out to our friends over at Seismic Cinema because they're literally doing an episode themselves right now about Dredd. And I commented on it earlier, and then because they said, "Oh, anyone's thoughts?" And I was like, it was one of the few films, right, that literally it had the RoboCop vibe to it, where you're like, wait, he's just executing bad guys left, right, and center. That's problematic. Carl Urban was so good. He didn't take off the helmet in that film, which is exactly what you should do with Judge Dredd. But you need a character to empathize with as well. So you had Olivia Thirlby in it as this young judge on their first day on the job. So that was really cool to see the mentally relationship. And also it has Lena Headey in it playing the villain right after she come off Game of Thrones. And she was also, this is one of the few films that I own on 3D DVD back when I had a 3D TV. And it actually used 3D right.
Yeah.
Like in the cinema, it was amazing because 3D is basically Avatar where you go, ooh, or it's just stuff being thrown at you in horror films. That's
I want to use that soundbite so bad. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, if you was an editor, Jose, maybe you could. But in this film, there is a drug called slow-mo, which lets people see stuff in really slow motion. And honestly, the scenes were amazing in it. They had the same cinematographer for Dredd that they used in Lars von Trier's Melancholia. It's like, how do you go from an art house Lars von Trier film to doing a low-budget shot in South Africa, really violent, ultra-fine film? Anyway, Dredd. Bring it back, you utter bastards. Next up on Disney Plus, a show called Chad Powers. When bad behavior nukes hotshot quarterback Russ Holiday's college career, he disguises himself and walks into a struggling Southern football team as a talented, affable Chad Powers. Now, an American football comedy on Disney Plus, normally we wouldn't be talking about this at all, except Chad Powers is played by Glenn Powell. And he's co-created with Michael Waldron. I already know what Marie's going to say on this. American football comedy?
No. I mean, sports is already extremely boring, but there's nothing more boring in this world than American football to me. It's
just
even under the wrong name.
I got in trouble once on board the ship for calling it rugby for girls on our ship's TV station.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I mean, even I'd find that insulting.
Oh man,
yeah. I have thoughts on rugby, and it ain't good.
Oh,
okay, but this isn't a rugby podcast. It's an American football show. Chad Powers, David. Chad Powers.
Yeah, no, I genuinely really like bad American football and good American football movies. So Draft Day, I fucking love Draft Day. That's a really fun film I just put on in the background. And I genuinely...
I remember you saying about this before. Yeah. You like your American football stuff.
Yeah, so I am actually quite interested in this. I don't know what kind of level the comedy is going to go down, whether they're thinking it's just going to be the American Ted Lasso. But, American football Tesla or something along those lines. But
the problem is in Lasso, they forgot to make it a comedy in the last series.
Yeah. But I genuinely do quite like stuff based around American football, like dramas, the comedies. So yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Well, David, if you ever get laid up with a broken leg and can't go anywhere, I mean, actually, that's just basically your life anyway. You just stay in your dungeon, don't you? A lot of the time.
I work in this room.
You work in this room.
Yeah, I have
pod
to
in this room.
pod in this room. Yeah, if there was a toilet, I do my business in this room. But I've got to go about 2 feet out the room to the room next door.
I would say, David, go and watch Friday Night Lights, which is probably the best American football drama ever made.
Yeah, I've seen. I've seen
Hey!
it. Yeah.
And Jose, you like everything, so I won't be surprised when you say you do.
Hey,
You like everything so far.
Glenn Powell is proven, I think, with that Hitman movie, he's a good writer and has a good nose for comedy, but mixed in with good character developments. I think this has a lot of potential because part of it is like what happens when he gets famous and if the team wins, he's gonna have to figure out how to
Season
show
2
off.
is what happens. Season 2.
Yeah.
There's an actual story about a player like Mark Wahlberg film. Is it Mark Wahlberg, the American football
Yes.
film with Mark Wahlberg, and he
With the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah. He's just like a bartender or something, isn't he? And he becomes
Yeah.
an NFL player.
Look how
Correct.
bored Marie looks, everyone. Come on.
That's genuinely interesting story though, Marie. And it isn't rugby for girls. I actually think rugby doesn't have any skill, Neil. Tell me where the skill is in rugby, Neil, right now.
I don't know, not a fan.
It's running forward,
moving
catching
on.
the ball. Like
Moving on.
passionate
There's
about
something
it.
there's something you're going to be passionate about, which is the next show we're talking about, David. He's looking at the script.
I'm letting you go. I'm saying,
Okay.
What is it?
Well, David, why should we care about the next show? The next show, it's a spin-off of a beloved franchise. It's a second spin-off of...
I'm going to say it. I'll go. Game of
Game of
Thrones.
Thrones.
It's the Hedge Knight. It's the Hedge Knight. It's Duncan Egg. It's the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It's the novella from George R.R. Martin, adapted into a new TV show. The three novellas. The Hedge Knight was one of them. Mystery Knight was the other one, and a Sworn Sword, I think. I don't know if that's the correct order. Was the third one.
Right, all the fans will come for you
the
on
tale.
David.
Yeah, they probably will. Yeah, and it is the tale of Sir Duncan the Tall and Egg, who becomes, spoilers, it's fucking in the histories of Game of Thrones. If you've watched Game of Thrones, you'll know it becomes Aegon the Unlikely, I think, because he's the fifth in line or sixth in line. He's somewhere down the line, like where he's like never going to be king. This is going to be real Arya and the Hound vibes from Game of Thrones, but when they liked each other. And it's going to be growth and like buddy, sort of like that buddy paternal relationship between Aegon and Sir Duncan the Tall. And that's the sort of vibe that this show is going to come. I'd imagine this to be a little bit more light in tone than Game of Thrones, but with obviously shocking dark elements that happen as they're exploring.
I was about to say, so less incest and murder.
Less incest, but probably about the same amount of murder.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll be good.
Marie, are you excited about another Game of Thrones show?
I don't know. I mean, I completely dismissed House of the Dragon until I heard they cast Matt Smith, and then obviously I was hooked. So I don't know, because like it's one of those where I was just like, I still feel the burn of the final season. So Game of Thrones can go either way for me. So hopefully it's good for David's sake. Otherwise,
I hope it's good for my sake as well.
That's another 2 or 3 podcasts of just ranting. I have to edit.
We'll see. It doesn't have Matt Smith in it, so.
It doesn't really have anyone in it that I've heard of, to be fair. It's a very hopefully they've spent the money on the scenes and the battles and stuff like that, because they haven't spent it on the cast, because I don't know who any of these people are.
To see how they adapt the novellas, because obviously novellas are really short stories, but it's directly from Martin's work.
So how many seasons would there be of this then, potentially, David?
Like if it's this, the novellas small, man. The novellas are really small. Even all together they're small.
I mean, but isn't like House of the Dragon also like
the house?
this
Yeah, but
much
they can fill in. It's like the book's massive, but the section of House of the Dragon is really small, and
it's so boring.
They can fill in a lot of the history around because it's told as a history book, isn't it?
Yeah.
But with this, like it's there, which is great because they can adapt straight from Martin's work, which is much better than creating bad dialogue like David and Dan did.
Yeah, they're not attached to this
David.
project, are they?
It doesn't say actually at the minute. It can't be. They're off doing other things. Yeah.
They're off ruining Star Wars.
Oh no. Jose.
Burn.
I mean, I wasn't burned by Game of Thrones because I had never watched it, but House of the Dragon.
You're going to be burned by this fireball that David's going to shoot from his screen to you.
I know everyone I know hates me for not watching that show.
No, I'm not sad about it, Jose, because honestly, it would only break your heart. And I don't want to see that happen.
It wouldn't, Jose.
It's like Schrodinger's cat of Game of Thrones. Like you still have the possibility of it being good.
Schrodinger's Jon Snow.
I feel like going into
Is he alive? Is he dead?
I mean, trust me, I know the spoilers, all the big ones at least. I like House of the Dragon, even with the mundane
Holding season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I expect it to be funny, so that's kind of like a plus, kind of like a throw to
We
what
need
Game of
some
Thrones was.
humor, don't we? After
Yeah, House of the
House
Dragon
of the Morbid.
definitely, it just does seem very stale and serious compared to what I've heard of Game of Thrones having better moments.
It's so funny, Jose. It's just so funny in places. Moving on, a
Sorry, mate.
show,
I didn't realize Danny Ings was in it. That's pretty awesome.
not the
I
footballer.
was surprised West Ham let him go. Yeah.
Ah, football reference, football reference.
I think
Daniel Ings.
yeah, exactly. Mine and Jose's head over.
was
I
like,
saw
yeah.
it. I ignored it, and David went for it. Moving on. Next up, a Western coming to Netflix. Or already I can see people's like, when I said the word Western. But this show is called American Primeval, and the poster is a bunch of people on horses riding under people being hung from a big walkway kind of thing. The series examines the fight to gain control of the American West and the sometimes violent clash between religion and culture. So this sounds like it could be like a kind of Game of Thrones style Western kind of deal. But the cast, Sarah Lightfoot Leon, who I'm guessing is a Native American actor with that name, as Abish Pratt, who I'm guessing is going to be the lead. But Jose from Friday Night Lights, a man who has had a unfortunate career since then and never reached the peaks of that show, which is a damn shame because he's a very good actor, but he's been in some absolute box office bombs. Mr. Taylor Kitsch is back.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad because he is a good actor, and
He's
to be
a
honest,
very good actor.
I've liked the stuff he's been in, but it just never gained traction. So it's almost like, will this be another situation of him being in good work, but just no one noticing or not caring?
Is on Netflix, isn't it? Well,
Yeah,
also
and
in
Betty
the cast
Gilpin as well, like 3 seasons
from
of
Glow,
Glow,
yes,
and then they got cut for no reason. So it's like they're both like, please don't cut us, please don't do.
and the rest of the cast, Joy Courtney, who again had a big breakthrough.
Ooh.
He's the Aussie actor who didn't do very well. And then he was Captain Boomerang, and people were like, he's the best character in Suicide Squad. And then I gave him a bit more to do in the Suicide Squad. But he looks like he's from the trailer. He looks like he's actually one of the leads in this show. And you got Shea Wiggum as Jim Bridger. He was in the last Mission Impossible film as one of the agents after, always like a step behind. But
You
also
mean
he played
Chief Wiggum?
No,
From...
that's The Simpsons. Shea Wiggum. He plays as well in Boardwalk Empire. If anyone saw that, he plays Steve Buscemi's brother, and he was brilliant in that over the 5-season arc he had in that. And also Dane DeHaan's in it. Remember when he was going to be the next big thing? And then he just kind of disappeared. So you've got a lot of people in this show who like should do really good work and have just disappeared. Marie, do you like westerns?
Nope.
Moving on, David.
This film just reminded me of the Primeval TV show.
yeah.
Yeah, the TV show reminded me of the other TV show called Primeval, which with the dinosaurs. That was a fun TV show. If you throw dinosaurs into a western, I'll be there.
Jose, westerns. You're American. Come on.
I'll be honest. It looks like a good cast, but sadly, I'm not the target audience.
Jose doesn't like something. I'm going to watch this purely because it's a show my old man will watch. So there we go. We have a show. He's been given a cupcake, you motherfucker.
It's a muffin, Neil. Chocolate chip muffin and a glass of milk.
Please share with the class, sir.
This is unfair.
Right, next up, a show that's not coming out this year because it's been delayed to 2026. But as I wrote it, I'm briefly going to mention it. Vision Quest. Remember the spin-off that we talked about briefly from WandaVision, and we wondered when we talked about Agatha, would this be the kind of sidequel show to that where you focused on White Vision and the other kid? But we won't know because they've only started shooting it this year, so we can skip that. Moving on. Next up, Spider-noir.
Yes, immediately. Yes.
Calm down, Jose. Calm down. We'll come to you last. Spider-noir is an upcoming TV series for MGM Plus. What the fuck is MGM Plus? Does anyone have it? Has anyone ever heard of it? I think it is actually a bonus subscription channel you can pay for on Amazon. I think they launched with all the James Bond films. Went, look, you can rent this channel and have all the Bond films. And everyone was like, no, you're okay. And then they put all the Bond films for free on regular Amazon Prime about 3 or 4 months ago. That's not the point. We just don't know where the show's going to be. But this show follows, based on the comics and that little voice cameo he does in Into the Spider-Verse. Someone was like, that would be a really good idea. So we're going to have Nicolas Cage on TV. Get in the cage. And it follows Spider-Man Noir, an aging private investigator and superhero in an alternate version of 1930s New York, grappling with his past life. Oh, yeah. This is such my jam. A 30s film noir Spider-Man with Nicolas Cage. It can, you could tell me nothing more about it, and I would be there for this. It's going to be 8 episodes. And like I say, as well as Nicolas Cage, you got Lamont Morris, who from New Girl, right? Am I correct?
I really hate New
Yes.
Girl, so.
New Girl. Oh, no. No,
It's
come
so
on.
bad. It's not funny. Who finds New Girl funny?
It is
It's
so
not.
funny.
It's
It's
just
endearing.
so
Jose.
cheap jokes. I can't
Those
watch
two.
New Girl.
But we've also got Brendan Gleeson as a New York mob boss. You know he's going to be Irish. He won't do an accent. He'll just be Brendan Gleeson. Looking forward to that. And Jack Houston, it just says as a bodyguard, but Jack Houston was a one-eyed assassin in Boardwalk Empire again, and he was amazing in that. And really, he should be in more stuff because he's an amazing actor. So pros, it's Cage in a film noir 30s take on Spider-Man. Cons, it's made by Sony though, and apparently it's going to be their first attempt at doing one of the wider Spider adjacent properties they just about have the rights to as a TV thing, which is not great. Which is probably why it's on MGM Plus, a streaming service no one's heard of. Marie, though, 30s film noir Nicolas Cage?
I mean, this is one of those things will be either really, really good or really, really bad.
Yeah.
I don't think there will be a middle ground. Like, so we'll see. I don't know. I don't, to be honest, have high hopes, but it might surprise me.
Let me
It
add
could
to
be
this.
this year's Penguin. It could be this. Wait
It
your
is
turn,
not-
Jose. It's
no,
David next.
Here's where you should know this to help you decide. It is not a cartoon. It is live action.
Yeah,
Yes,
I know.
we've mentioned that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I've seen the photos as well, like the behind the scenes of them shooting this. But yeah, they're as like Neil pointed out, they're like pushing it out on a streaming site no one's heard of, and it's like
Yeah.
I'm actually a bit disappointed it's not a cartoon now. I was kind of
Yeah.
hoping it would be the
See?
Spider-noir from Into the Spider-Verse, just
Mhm.
and then just they made a TV show out of that. I'd much rather watch that.
I feel like
because
that was the original
Spider-Verse-
concept.
But then he realised
Oh,
it would probably
awesome.
take a lot of money.
Well, surely his voice would be cheaper than paying for him.
Animators, David. You got to pay the animators.
Yeah, but,
And
yeah,
they're
but
really
everyone
busy
knows
on
they're all
finishing-
underpaid, and they're like they will pay peanuts to do.
Do you want to kill these animators, David?
No,
Is that what
I
you
love
want? You want to kill
animators.
them.
I'm just
You
saying.
want to kill them.
I don't know if it would be cheaper.
I
Anyway,
think live action.
I'm a bit disappointed now that it's live action. Not gonna lie.
Okay.
See,
Oh, well.
David didn't know.
I really liked the the Into the Spider-Verse. Those
Oh, I
two,
love them.
they're so good, and they're
They're
Sony,
so
right?
good.
If
Yeah,
it's if it's
Yeah.
the same team, if it's that Sony doing it, fuck yeah, it's
No.
gonna be amazing. But
What
if
if
it's
it's a
like,
Morbius?
but if it's the Morbius Sony,
And a
that's
Craven.
doing it, then we're fucked.
and Madam Web.
It might as well just
Ugh.
die a death now.
Ooh,
In Cage we trust. I want to get in a cage.
no.
Jose, final thoughts.
I went through a roller coaster of emotions because Nicolas Cage, Spider-Man Noir, yes. Sony, no. But
MGM
then-
Plus. What the fuck is that?
And then I thought, okay, it's a cartoon, it'll be fun, and no, it's live action. So I don't have trust in this. I want it to be good, but I don't think it will be. I want to be proven wrong. That's what it comes down to.
In Cage we trust. Cage is doing some fantastic work, and I can't wait to see his
Very true.
his
Very true.
his him on TV playing a Kurdish film noir detective. Next up, a show on another service I have no idea that I'd heard of before. And this show is called Sherlock and Daughter. And it's an upcoming mystery TV series based on Sherlock Holmes. It's going to air on the CW in America and Discovery Plus worldwide. What the fuck is
You've not
Discovery
heard-
Plus?
Discovery Plus is where you watch
Discovery
American.
Plus is very common.
Yeah, it's where all the sports channels are. So I watch Champions League football on Discovery.
No,
Oh,
that's on.
Everton
that's
aren't in
on-
it, mate. That's why. So
No, Discovery Plus is an extra one on top of that, David, because we have TNT Sports.
no,
That's what you're watching in
TNT
the
Sports has been bought out by Discovery Plus, so it's all on Discovery Plus.
So wait, if I have TNT Sports, I have Discovery Plus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then I can
This
watch
is
it.
fascinating content, people.
Yes. Sherlock Holmes becomes embroiled in a malevolent conspiracy involving his arch enemy Moriarty. That's pretty much every Sherlock Holmes story ever. And he ends up joining forces with Emilia Rojas, a young American woman whose mother, look at the smile on Jose's, he's like, he tried the accent and he didn't fuck it up, whose mother was recently murdered. As they work together to crack the case, Emilia wonders, is the great detective her long-lost father? And playing Sherlock Holmes, and this is what's got me excited, because it being on the CW or Discovery Plus, that's a big kind of for me. But David Thewlis is playing Sherlock Holmes, and he is awesome in everything he is in.
Yes.
Also, Dougray Scott is playing Professor Moriarty, so you got a Scottish Moriarty, which is going to be good. Well, another one after Andrew Scott. Hey, double C, but not, but kind of. And playing
Andrew
the
Scott is Irish.
I know, but his name's Scott. I went for the obvious joke and I did it too quickly. And playing Emilia Rojas is Blue Hunt, Native American actress who She was really good in The New Mutants. Which that film took a kicking, and it wasn't that bad. It just had no money, and the whole film took place in a room. Right? It was fine.
Yeah.
Like I had such low expectations for that I was like, it's not as bad as people thought it was going to be. It had no money in it. Like anyway, so I liking the idea of this. A Sherlock Holmes and Daughter team up. This could be. Oh, and you know where you like David Hewlett, Marie, because he is in Artful Dodger. He played Fagin in Artful Dodger.
Oh.
That guy as Sherlock Holmes. I know
him as. I mean, it's sad because I know him most from Harry Potter as Professor.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Yeah. If you're just gonna say Lupin, like.
So so him. I'm kind of. I know nothing about it. It could be this year's Artful Dodger that no one knows about. Drops months away on a different channel. Finally get it on Disney Plus in the UK or something like that. And I'm quite intrigued by this. Marie, intrigued?
No, I mean Sherlock Holmes stories don't really interest me. To be honest, other than Sherlock, to be honest, I did quite enjoy Alona Holmes, but that was mainly because of Henry Cavill. He looks really, really good in those movies. Like, he's work of art, that man. But other than that, like, I don't know. Sherlock stories never really interest to me.
David.
Yeah, I agree with Marie. Sherlock Holmes has never really been that. I've never really been like interested in Sherlock stories and Arthur Conan Doyle in general. I liked Sherlock, the BBC show. That was
I never
great.
watched that. I missed it.
What?
Really? That's really good.
I wasn't around when it was on. Yeah.
Bro.
There's
I was on ship still, Jose. I was on ship still.
Oh, so you can't watch shows that have passed? Is that what it is?
Well, not when I was there on the ship. Well,
if only there was like this magical device that allows you to watch shows that already have come out.
I have no idea what that technology
and they're
is.
only like an hour and a half.
Sherlock was really good, mate.
Sherlock is really good.
And this is coming from two people that said they don't like Sherlock.
Yeah.
And
But
there's
I think
like
that's why,
6
because
episodes total.
Yeah, it's
like,
a modern adaptation, and it's like it was like before
it's really
Benedict
good.
Cumberbatch
I'm
became-
familiar with it. I'm familiar with everyone going on and on about it, but I'm just like, it just passed me by. I was like, do you know what? It's in the past.
This is Neil's Game of Thrones. He won't watch it.
But it would have taken me less time. I think it would take him like what, one season of the equivalent time of one season of Game of Thrones to watch all of Sherlock.
I remember it having a little bit of a disappointing ending as well. A little bit.
I don't think the ending was disappointing. I think the lead up to it. I think the final seasons weren't as strong.
The quality went like this a little bit with it. Like it wasn't. It
started
was
really
slope.
well.
It never
started really well.
It never ended bad, but it definitely had a downward slope.
Jose, do you have time in your life for Sherlock and his daughter?
I mean, I'll have to see the trailer. It's a good cast, but it might turn
Depends
into
on the tone, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it depends on like if there's a time where I'm like, oh, let me put it on. You know, I think it just depends on if I'm in the mood. I don't think I'm against or for it. Really, I'm on the fence.
That must be painful for you. Must be painful. Right, David, going to throw to you on this one, and it's The Last of Us season 2, 7 episodes, spring 2025 on HBO and Sky Atlantic. Please pay us. Please sponsor us. David, why should we be?
That is a pipe dream. That will never happen.
You should be interested in this because part 1 was amazing based off the game, and part 2, Last of Us Part 2, the game, was equally as amazing as the first game. It had a very interesting narrative choice that happens in it.
Did you say it's going to be divisive?
Really, yeah. It will either piss a lot of people off in this season, or it will. Or people have...
Look at these smug people who like know the second game and know the story, and I've never played the game, so I don't know anything. Because I refuse to Google because I do not want to be spoiled.
No, you
remember that. Remember that with your
hinting. But the game is as amazing. You play as Ellie in the second game. She's the protagonist, not instead of Joel. But it is very good, and the casting of Abby. Is Catelyn Denver? Yeah, you can see it.
Good casting, man.
Oh yeah.
Because from what I understand, she's like a major character in the second game.
Yeah,
right?
she's massive. Yeah, you play as her as well. You play as the two of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and how they cross is very interesting. Yeah.
And I see as well from the cast list, we've got Catherine O'Hara in it. So a little Schitt's Creek. Probably not going to be as funny as Schitt's Creek in this. Although she could have some crows. Could get some crows. There could be a crow fly past her at some point in this. Get a little Schitt's Creek reference into The Last of Us. And Jeffrey Wright's in it. And Jeffrey Wright is brilliant in everything he does. So, yes. And he's reprising his role from the video game that I did not know, David. I did not know. So, David, is this going to be the because people said it was the first series wasn't the whole first game. Is that right, or am I wrong?
No, it was
No.
pretty much.
It was.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I thought they're splitting this one into two. They're splitting the second game into two. I thought that's what I
Hmm.
heard.
Right. That makes more sense.
Okay, so you know
think-
where they'll end it then with this.
I think there's like I
Yeah.
think there's meant to be 3 seasons. I think that's what I heard. I might be talking out of my ass here, but I'm pretty sure they said they were splitting the second game.
I believe
into
it.
two. Fact checking
Anyway.
into two.
And another thing for me to put on the screen afterwards.
It's be interesting to see how they do, like, because there's flashback stuff that happens quite a lot in the second game. So it'd be interesting if they do the flashbacks in the show as well. I suppose if they do it, if they follow the same narrative thread as the game does.
Marie, excitement level for this.
Hi. The Last of Us was like my surprise, like because obviously like I don't do horror and I never played the games because like I'm a PC girl and I think they were like exclusive console for a while.
Sony. They were only ever on Sony.
PlayStation. Yeah.
I don't know games either. So unless we're talking about Mass Effect, I am completely novice when it comes to games.
We don't have time for that, Marie. We don't have time.
No. But
Somewhere Chatsunami is screaming.
But yeah, but so I was so shocked of how much I liked the first season, and it was like my show of that year.
And it was gay?
Yes, and season 2 is going to be even more gay. Like so, hopefully, from what I know from the games. So I'm really excited, and of course we get Daddy Pascal again, and he's just so good as Joel. That was so surprising for me, his role in The Last of Us. And yeah, I just love the world. Coincidentally, I somehow every time an episode of The Last of Us aired, I ate something with mushrooms in it. And now it's just become tradition that now I always have mushroom pasta when The Last of Us airs. I feel like I'm getting my revenge. But yeah, what a great concept. I just really love it.
I'm gonna really enjoy it. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm mixing words in my head. How long's it been?
Cool.
How long we've been?
Too long. Jose, Last of Us season 2.
I'll keep it simple. I'm looking forward to it. I liked season 1, and I think season 2 is going to be great too. So yeah.
Nice.
That's basically what I tried to say. It just came out
he
weird.
used his words better with his mouth. Next up, a show. Wow, Netflix's maybe biggest show of all time, and it's finally coming to an end. And that show is Stranger Things season 5, and we have 6 episodes. And like always, they tell us what the episode titles are beforehand. Episode 1 is The Crawl, then The Vanishing of, which means another kid's going to go fucking missing, The Turnbow Trap, Sorcerer, Shock Jock, Escape from Kamazots, The Bridge, and The Right Side Up, which I'm guessing means we're going to get a happy ending. Maybe. Not all of them. Some of them are going to die. The kid with the Dumb and Dumber haircut is going to die. I'm just saying it. He has to. Stranger Things, season 5. Marie, excited, on the fence, or never watched it? I don't know. We never spoke about this before.
No. Not on the fence. I think Stranger Things never like regained the heights of season 1. I like season 1 was like peak television. I absolutely love it. I know it's divisive, but I actually do really like season 3. Because I love the mall setting. I really did like the mall setting, even though it was a bit ridiculous with the Russians underneath. Like the thing is, like, it started off so small, and then they try to like increase the threat level every single season, and I think that's where they're failing. And then how this final season 4 ended, it got a bit like season 4 got very ridiculous. It got very ridiculous, in my opinion. It still had some great moments. If they dare to kill off Steve Harrington, I will fucking riot. He is the love of my life. I protect Steve at all costs. Yes, you will hear me ranting if that happens. So, other than that, I am like a bit meh on the season. So we'll see.
David.
Steve would be the person I bet on dying.
But it's so obvious. It's so obvious
because
isn't
people love him, and he doesn't have really anything to live for. In like the world. Obviously, he's young. And
what about his girlfriend?
He's got life to live for. He hasn't got a girlfriend. Yeah,
he hasn't met me, unfortunately. Like, yes, me.
Dun, dun,
Davis,
dun, dun, dun,
2005?
Drum roll. Like you played blind, weren't you, man?
To tell Neil he's wrong.
Oh, we're so wrong, and we're so wrong on everything, man.
Happy New Year, everybody. How's it going?
Happy New Year.
Hey.
How's it going, man?
Yeah, man. Back.
So
Back
you've
in the-
finally sorted out all the brown M&Ms for people, and you can finally join the podcast.
Yes, and we only had to beat the shopkeeper and his son to death using
With their own shoes.
Happy ending.
Happy ending, yeah, for sure, for sure.
We are at Stranger Things season 5, mate.
Fantastic.
Excitement levels.
Good. For me, I'm at like an 8.5. I love this show, and how are they gonna move the story on? It's gonna be fun. I think they're gonna be all right.
And I wonder which other bands are like just praying to be on the soundtrack to have their like streams and royalties go through the roof like last season.
Yeah, because Metallica fucking need that.
Right, yeah. And Kate Bush,
I
God
hate
damn
to
it.
say it, there were a few people who never heard of Metallica when
That's true.
that's
All those
season
people that
aired.
buy Metallica t-shirts in like Primark and just like, oh, there's an actual band. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the first time they ever heard Master of Puppets. Like,
I think that the Kate Bush one was actually like she didn't make any money from that song in the original, like when it was released originally. So the streams actually paid her some money from that song, which I think is great.
Nice, man. Jose, Stranger Things.
I mean, I'm a casual viewer. I actually only watched about halfway through season 3, but now this gives me incentive to catch up. And I do like the show, so I'm looking forward to it. But it's, again, I think I agree with Ben. It's not one of my top shows of the year, but it's always been pretty good. So, and what I've seen of season 3 is actually I like a lot. So I can't wait to see where they go now that I know there are Russians under them all.
Well, next up, a show that was, I think it was our joint top show of the year when it was out. It was a three-way tie with this show.
Oh, yeah.
And coming to Disney Plus on April 22nd, the second and final season, and all 12 episodes.
Yes.
Andor season 2. And apparently this season is going to take place over 4 years, split into 3-episode pods, with each pod covering a few consecutive days in each successive year before the events of Rogue One. Now, all I need to say about Andor is it was the best Star Wars TV show ever made, and it also has the best writing and acting of any Star Wars project ever made. And I will die on that hill. Marie, Andor fan?
never seen it. I did really like Rogue One. I just never got to Andor.
Oh my God. You have to watch it.
I'm a bit experiencing Star Wars fatigue, to be honest. Like
I was like that, but then I watched Andor and I was like, holy shit, this is proper acting. You got Baron Harkonnen is in it, giving one of the best speeches you'll ever hear in any, like, it's Shakespearean, the quality of dialogue they get in it. Fiona Shaw in it was in it, and apparently there's that rumor that she said "fuck the Empire" on set, and they had to bleep it when she says like "fight the Empire" or something at the end or something. Because she's like, no, I wouldn't say "fight the Empire," I'd say "fuck the Empire." So and she just disagreed with the directors and just went ahead and did it. Watch Andor. If you get a chance, watch Andor. It's so good. It's so good. Ben, we know Star Wars.
Is it the greatest Star Wars property since the original trilogy? Probably.
Yes.
Like, I mean, there's not going to be a moment in it like Luke Skywalker turning up like in Mandalorian, which was, I still get chills watching that. To take a part of the Star Wars lore and turn it into like a spy thriller genre was exactly what it needed. It's like all the Marvel stuff where like you can get Marvel fatigue and you can, superhero fatigue and stuff, but every once in a while they'll drop something that just goes, it goes above and beyond what that genre started out being, which is what I think Andor have managed to do. I don't see it being a bad series. It will be a travesty if this comes out and it's lame. Like it would just
can you
be,
imagine?
it would just be like, imagine it was like the biggest build up to like the worst thing like since, I don't know, fucking Acolyte. If it's good, it's going to be tremendous. If it's bad, it's going to break Star Wars and everyone's going to like tap out.
Throw the toys out of the car, land speeder.
X-Wing.
Yeah. David, Andor.
Yeah, like the rest of you, aside from Marie, watched the first season, loved the first season. However, I just know I probably won't watch this season, and it's only because I'll get like vetoed out of it at home, and I won't actually get to watch it. And
did your wife
it'll
watch
make
it
me
at
sad.
all?
She did, but she was sort of like in and out of it. She didn't really watch it, and then it'll just be one of those shows that I won't actually get to watch. And it'll make me really sad. But
especially when we tell you how amazing it is.
Yeah. Especially when he gets all the reviews and Neil's ranting about it and raving about it.
Yeah.
In our chats that have 15,000 messages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jose, Andor.
I want to
There
preface
is no war. It's just
Andor. I have to preface this for Marie. I was a very reluctant. I thought this was a stupid idea because I loved Rogue One. It is probably my top three Star Wars films of all time.
Mm.
And I was like, why are they using this side character? And I watched the
Cassian Blandor, you mean?
right? And so my brother-in-law wanted to watch it, so I sat down with him and I was just like, okay, this is not what I was expecting. It's way better. And yeah, there's some moments that are a little slow, but I think it was just such a good show that I was not expecting to enjoy this much. So I'm very much excited for Andor season 2. Again, I am also hoping it doesn't suck because
It's
of
not
the
going to
second
suck. It's the
second
same
year
people,
slump.
man. It's like they've changed
I
nothing.
know,
It's
but
just going to rule.
still,
It's
you
going to
get
rule.
scared, you know. But yeah, I'm really excited. So this is probably one of my other top choices of shows I'm watching.
What I would say, Marie, is yeah, like Jose said, on paper, it sounds like a terrible idea. Taking a character who really isn't that interesting in Rogue One and doing a two-season show about him before he becomes like a Resistance Fire, it doesn't. But literally, the very first scene of the first episode is him looking for his missing sister at an intergalactic strip club and then killing two people in cold blood in the street. And that's before the first
Well,
title roll.
spoilers.
That's before the first title on the first episode. Like, and you're just like, this is not a kiddie show. This is like full on adult drama Star Wars. And like, I just keep hammering up the point, but the writing is so good. The acting is so good.
If you were to take the Star Wars like logo off of it
Yeah.
and like and just
World
have
War
it as
Two.
like
It was a World
a
War Two show.
space, if it was set in World War Two, if it was set now, like it would still have the same resonance and it would still land the same. It was like
Yeah,
it's
and
it's great.
you
It really is
care
good.
you care about the characters. Like that says
Andy
You
something.
can't.
Serkis, when
They
Andy
managed.
Serkis comes into it.
Oh, don't. When you care about the most boring Star Wars character ever, like it's just
Yeah.
you know they've done something well.
Moving on. A show with the word black in the title. Black Mirror, Season 7. And they're doing 6 episodes, and apparently 2 of them are going to be feature length. And it's going to be the first time in Black Mirror history they're doing a direct sequel to a previous episode. And that is a sequel to USS Callister. So Christy Mioletti and Jesse Plemons are coming back for that, apparently. And I can't wait, because that was an awesome episode. With the anthology nature of the show, they always have a different cast every episode. Just some of the people appearing in the new series. Aquafina, Peter Capaldi, Emma Corrin, Paul Giamatti, Rashida Jones, Billy Magnuson, Christian Milotti, as we mentioned, Chris O'Dowd, Tracy Ellis Ross, and Jimmy Simpson. I mean, that's a hell of a cast, like right there. And Black Mirror, it's just brilliant, man. I like with the world being so fucked up and weird in terms of technology. I'm really interested to see how they stay relevant. And he's almost been like a Charlie Brooker's almost been like a prognosticator in earlier years, going that's going to be fucking scary in a few years' time. And then, we get to that point and we're like, yeah, he was right. So I can't wait to see what he does in this one. Marie, Black Mirror fan or not?
I used to be. I've completely checked out with Black Mirror at this point. I think the last one I saw was the season with Andrew Scott, when it was only like 3 episodes,
Okay.
Smithereens, and then followed by the god awful Miley Cyrus one. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think it has the spark that it used to have. I've heard things about like I think the last I don't I think I missed out one season. I've heard things about the other season and they didn't really appeal to me. Shout out to Dan from Casting Views, who has a series called Casting Views on Black Mirror, where he goes through every single episode, and that's how I've been keeping up. But yeah, nothing like drawing me back in. Like I think it's past its peak and overstayed its welcome. However, the USS Callister episode does intrigue me because that was the first Black Mirror episode I ever saw. And I know this is the similar experience to the majority of people because when it moved to Netflix, that was the first episode it showed you, and for some reason, and that's why I thought, oh, if this is the show, and then I got really disappointed when I found out it was an anthology because that is such a good episode, and I really want to know what happens to those characters. But
Now we're going to.
I thought it was going to be its own TV show. I didn't know it was just going to be an episode because I thought
Okay.
I thought that was the plan, that they were going to make an own TV show of the USS Callister, not a sequel episode.
No, sadly not. But hey, we get a
Sadly
sequel,
not.
which they've never done before.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing about Black Mirror. It's an anthology, so you don't have to watch the shit episodes. I mean, for me, there's not really many. I'm a big fan of pretty much most of it. But if people go, oh yeah, that's a really good episode, you can tune in, watch it, and you're not really losing out on anything. Nosedive, is it? No, what was the one? What was the one? There was the one with what's the actress from Schitt's Creek who plays the daughter?
Oh, Joan
Oh,
is awful. That
Joan
was
is awful. That was really funny. I love that.
That was really good. Yeah.
I mean, that was up to almost Deadpool levels of breaking the fourth wall, wasn't it? With all the Netflix stuff in it. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
that.
For someone that doesn't know it, like Black Mirror, hasn't watched it, Marie knows, like, she's up on those episode titles.
Because of Casting View.
Casting views, but also like, because I used to be a Black Mirror fan, so that's why I still like am like checking in on it. It's just nothing that's come out has interested me recently.
Ben, Black Mirror fan or nay?
I'm the same as Marie. I checked out. Like, I mean, I've watched it all. I've seen it up to like the last series, which was more like horror, like werewolves
Demon
and stuff in it,
79,
as opposed to technology. And I was like, I don't know, man. Like, if you've got to push the boundaries this hard to keep people engaged and watching, then I don't know. It's not the same show for me. Like the first couple of seasons, like I thought that the first couple of seasons were randomized when I watched them. Because like when I was talking to someone about, I don't know if it was you, Neil, like I was talking to someone about watching Black Mirror, and they were like, "Oh yeah, the first episode," and it's this guy that I can't remember which one it was.
The first episode is the pig and the Prime Minister.
Yeah,
That's
if
the
that
first
would have
one
been
I
the first
saw.
Black Mirror episode I ever saw, I would have never tuned back in. That shit
So
traumatized
that
me.
wasn't the first episode I saw. So
Okay.
it was the one with the implants where you can rewatch
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
You can rewind stuff.
Yeah.
I
So
think
like
that's the second episode.
So I think that what happened was like the way I looked at it was like I thought it was breaking the rules of TV because I thought they just randomized the order that you watch them in. Because if I went backwards and forwards through the list, it would just go to a different. Like I was like, this is so it confused the fuck out of me to start with. Which like I was like, I don't know about this. So when I came back to it and then realized that it was just an odd show from the outset. It kind of it drew me in a little more. But now I don't know. I've lost the interest. I mean, I think Charlie Brooker is a genius. I think like the man's like I'd love to see him step away from Black Mirror and do like a movie or like a TV show that isn't Black Mirror. Just something that's like I don't know, something where you can stretch your legs in a different way.
He does write Kunk as well. Philomena Kunk.
Oh, really?
Everyone's look. Oh yeah, Ben knows that. Yeah. So Philomena Kunk is this like mock documentary by this northern redhead woman, and she appears really stupid, but she'll go and interview people, like actual like people to do with proper subjects, and they kind of have to be in on the joke, and she'll ask just really stupid questions. It's kind of a bit like the old Ali G thing from back in the day, but Charlie Brooker writes it. David.
I'm sort of somewhere in between Marie and yourself, Neil, and I really enjoy like that odd episode. It's not the show that I'll be like, oh, Black Mirror's coming out, I've got to watch the next, the new season of Black Mirror or whatever like that. It's something that you'll come to when there's nothing really else on that you're really interested in, and you'll pick up the episode every now and then. I've just finished watching Emma Corrin in Nosferatu, and I need more Emma Corrin in my life.
David, the show is called A Murder at the End of the World, and it's on Disney Plus.
That's amazing. That show is great.
Yeah, she's the lead in that, and she's amazing in it.
I'm gonna check that out, and I'm also looking forward to the Chris O'Dowd episode.
Yeah, Chris O'Dowd.
Chris O'Dowd.
Imagine if it's like an IT crowd spin-off. That'd be amazing. It won't be, but it
Would
would be
it? Would it
amazing.
though? Would it be amazing?
No, probably not.
Just retreading old ground. Like I want to see Chris O'Dowd as a serial killer. He does comedy stuff all the time. Let's put him in a serious role and really.
I like
really
the Big
give him
Door
some
Prize.
range. The Big Door Prize. Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Oh man, that's another one.
Jose, Black Mirror, yay or nay?
I'm one of those where it's anthologies, so I don't consider it like a thing collectively. Like there are episodes that I like and episodes I don't like. So
You're sitting on the fence, basically.
I sit on the fence. I'll probably enjoy some of the episodes. Although I am now that more that I think about it, the USS Callister, the fact that they're going back to it for a show that doesn't do that, that kind of actually worries me because I'm like, are they running out of ideas? I know it was a very popular episode, but
it was very popular.
I think it's just
That's
the
why.
popularity of it and the fact that like there is so much more you could do with that story. That's why I thought they were actually going to do a full TV show of it because
Hey, you never know. We might actually get one if they can afford, Christian Milioti after this one comes out as well.
Was that your favorite episode?
Ooh,
Mine was
I-
San Junipero, though. I think San
Junipero is like the
was
only one that
mine,
doesn't
yeah.
depress the shit out of you. But I love the
yeah,
concept
that
of
one
USS
really was
Callister.
depressing.
Yeah.
That's depressing is quite a common theme in a lot of Black Mirror episodes.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
But-
supposed to be uplifting, is it? It's supposed to be
No.
like a stark warning of where we're headed.
Yeah.
Like, so expect like many Donald Trump references in this new season. I would imagine.
Oh God. I was wondering, do you guys actually know where the title comes from? Black Mirror.
No.
No.
No, actually, I don't. Where does it come from?
When you turn off a screen.
Oh my god!
Oh.
Now that makes so much sense.
Oh, you just blow my mind.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
Because you're looking
God.
into a Black Mirror.
This is it.
Wow.
You're the first. You've heard it here first. Is the first of many Marie mind blowers on the We Needed Rose podcast. You're going to
Man.
get at least one of these every podcast now. No pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure, none at all.
Or
Don't say
to
that
mention-
challenge. I will. I would.
She definitely will, though.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm an insomniac, so I Google all this shit like when I
Wow.
Out of
can't
the five
sleep.
of
So
us-
I've got so much random knowledge in my brain.
Perfect. Out of the five of us, you're the one most likely to be able to do it. So I believe in you.
Yeah.
Well, next up, a show that also has the word black in it, but it's not a mirror, it's a rabbit. Black Rabbit, a show on Netflix starring Jude Law and Jason Bateman. And the only reason I know about this show is Bateman will not stop talking about it on Smartless, his podcast, which I listen to all the time. And he's been working on it for about a year now. And the story is when the owner of a New York City hotspot, Jude Law, allows his chaotic brother Bateman back into his life, he opens the door to escalating dangers that threaten to bring down everything he's built. So it's like a familial drama. But again, we know nothing about this other than it's Jude Law, Jason Bateman, and it's called Black Rabbit and it's on Netflix. So that's all we really know about it for now.
Well, do you know if Jude Law is going to play British or is he going to play American?
Well, they're brothers, so I'm guessing he's probably going to play American. Or
Yeah, that's what I'm
it'd be
wondering.
weird to see Bateman doing English,
Why
wouldn't
is that important?
Jose Jose with the hard hitting questions.
I'm just wondering because
Yeah.
that's like,
Because if he plays British, if he plays English, you're not going to watch it because there's some sort of accent racist.
I'm
What's
just
going on here?
curious. Oh, Ben,
Speak
we've missed
your
you.
truth, Jose.
You two realise you two are in the same country at the minute. It's
And I'm
I
going
know,
to be
it's fun.
in the same state as him in February, so we'll probably hang out.
Oh my God, you got to tell me.
Oh.
You got to tell me when.
He's already told you, like literally before.
The Flogging
You
Molly
forget.
cruise starts in Miami in February.
There we go.
Okay, you got to give me details because I forgot about everything. My brain is not.
I'll text you. I'll text you beforehand, but podcast is go.
Anyway,
Definitely.
yeah,
Sorry.
Black Mirror. Sorry, Black Rabbit. Not really much. Let's move on because there's not really much more we can say about it because there's not really any other info about it. But it is going to be on Netflix at some point this year. Next up, a show that has only just literally been named, and it's Vince Gilligan's new sci-fi show for Apple, and it is called Wycaro 339, and it stars Kim Wexler herself, Rhea Seehorn from Better Call Saul, and the idea is very, very bland. We know nothing really from this description. This series is set in a present-day Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's familiar. Where have we seen that before? That faces an abrupt change away from the world as it is known. But they've obviously got faith in it at Apple because they've commissioned 2 seasons already.
Apple have got more money, more money than sense, so that doesn't mean a thing. Apple
They cancelled
have
Time Bandits.
so much money. Yeah, exactly. More money than sense. Like, there's
I
no
like Time
I like Time Bandits. I thought it was great, and I'm bummed that they cancelled it. So they've got more money than sense. So
Okay.
I don't know I don't know anything about this, but the sheer fact, like Apple for me is like my second favorite streaming platform. Like Disney Plus being the first, Apple was the second because they do consistently knock out bangers, but they do also, like Disney Plus, pull the rug out from you when you least expect it.
Mm.
Just not as often, I think. Hashtag Willow.
Yeah. Hashtag Willow. hashtag Willow forever.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Apple TV, the next show, which drops, within a week or so of this episode coming out, most likely, probably going to be one of our shows of the year already. It's not even close. And I did a full rewatch of this show only in the last couple of weeks, and that is the long-awaited and the much-delayed season 2 of Severance. Oh, yeah. The trailer looks amazing that we've seen so far, but also we're getting new characters brought into it. And we've got Aliyah Shawkat, who was in Arrested Development. She's coming into it. Brienne of Tarth, Gwendolyn Christie, is going to be in it. Merritt Weaver, who's also an awesome actress, is going to be in it. And John Noble from Fringe is going to be in it. So, I mean, awesome. All awesome people back there. I mean, I have no idea where this is going, and I don't want us to talk about how season 1 ended. But, my God, Marie, you haven't seen Severance, have you?
Yes,
I don't
of
believe.
course I have.
We'll cut that line. Marie, you love Severance, right?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure, like, when you guys did the most anticipated TV show last year, I sent in Severance as mine, and then it got postponed. Along with
So it's
Dune.
your fault.
I always pick the ones that get postponed. But no, I love Severance. I saw it around this time last year for the first time. So I didn't see it while it was airing. I checked in last year, and it's such a difficult show to describe because it's so strange, but yet also so simple. And also, I've recently had a work experience where I really wished I was severed. So I've never related to that show more than ever. Like it honestly, like every day when I was swiping my key card, I kept telling myself, okay, I'm severed. I'm severed. I need to pretend that I care about this giant corporate entity, even though I don't, and I want to burn them to the ground. Surprisingly enough, I did not last long there. So
Name and shame and Marie.
I wouldn't.
No, it's fine.
Wouldn't embarrass Daddy Zuckerberg. I'm on their NDA, but they're never gonna check this anyway. Yeah, terrible experience. Don't work for Daddy Zuckerberg. Anyway, so
I would
especially
say back to Severance, but it sounds like your life is actually Severance. So
yeah, but no, I love the show, but it's one of those ones where I really, really hope they won't fuck it up because it's such a high concept. And what I worry with like high concept shows is that as the season goes on, they fuck it up. Westworld. So, I really hope that they like have like when they started the show, they had an idea on how to end it and how they're going to tell the story and not make it up as they go along because that happens a lot. Lost. So it's so I really hope that it keeps the like caliber of season one. But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited because it's such a good show.
Ben.
Watched like a couple of episodes, didn't really get into it, didn't vibe with it, stopped it there.
To be honest, I completely understand that because it's such a strange show.
I'm normally into like cool, weird, strange sci-fi stuff. My girlfriend's watched it and she said it's fucking amazing, and we get on like our stuff is like on sync. So like I'm amazed that I didn't get into it. Just like the slow pacing of it and probably the time that I was watching it doesn't help. What I might do is wait for season 2 to come out and then just like binge the whole fucking lot.
And if we're like, Ben, it's amazing, then you go back and do it all.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking. That's literally what I just said. Yeah, you tell him, Jose. But yeah, like I'll wait for season 2 to come out and watch the whole thing from season 1 all the way through. So yeah, I don't know. I've got no platform to stand on here. I'll need to pass to the next person.
David.
Yeah, well, season 1 was our show of the year, wasn't it, Neil?
It was.
And I think I mentioned earlier in the podcast that this is the show that's going to bring me back my Apple TV Plus subscription. So this is going to bring. So Apple's going to take my money, like literally, so I can watch this show. Yeah, although I can't remember, it's been that long. I can't actually remember much about what happened in season 1.
Rewatch.
So I think we're going to rewatch
series.
season 1, or they'll have to do a really fucking good catch up, like recap bit before this season.
I rewatched the whole thing about 2 weeks ago at the time of recording, and holy fuck, it's so well written because there are so many Easter eggs dropped in. And I think when you watch it the first time, I found it a bit slow going. And it's like, when I was watching it the first time, I was like, okay, I know it's really good. I like, just like you, Ben. I know I like this stuff, but I am not connecting with it. But then I stuck with it, and it got better and better and better each episode before a brilliant ending. So then when I went back and watched those early episodes, knowing how the show progresses, then you realise how brilliant it is. So it's not maybe the best advert for the show that you need to watch it twice, but it makes you want to watch it twice. And yeah, it's just so good. Sorry, Jose.
So I'm a recent convert. I was like Ben, I was just casually watching one episode like every other week, and I was just like, yeah, it took me a while to realize it's just weird, and that's what kind of threw me off. I didn't know what was going on. But just to kind of convince you, the last 3 episodes are like, I'm against Neil where I didn't think it got better. It was one way across for the first half of the season. And I'm like, looking back, okay, yeah, I can get why, okay, yeah, there's a lot of Easter eggs and it makes sense. But really for me, the first time watching, the last 3 episodes is where it made it. That's where like things happen and you're like, oh, okay, oh. And then boom, I'm eating a turkey sandwich.
And boom, Jose's descriptions now generally always make it sound like he's eating a sandwich. We'll be talking about a film, and it's just a running thing now. It's part of it. Yeah. He knew that. He knew what he was doing then. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, well done.
Next up, David, a show. Well, I mean, we might as well just let David talk about this because he's going to shout all over us anyway.
Cobra Kai! Yes! I fucking love Cobra Kai.
Me too.
You say, how does it finish, David, is your question. I think it's going to finish with Johnny and Daniel finally fucking... Whoa,
The ending no one saw coming.
I usually say the gay shit on here.
The sexual tension between them, man. You could cut it with a knife. No, I love this show. I think I've said before that Cobra Kai is arguably my favorite TV show, like just of all time, just because of the sheer level of enjoyment I get out of watching it. And I'm so sad that it's ending. And I kind of don't want to watch these 5 final episodes because I don't want it to end for me. You know, if I don't watch it,
it doesn't end.
It doesn't die.
The movie comes out.
I know, yeah.
It's not connected in any way.
It is connected. It is connected.
I mean, it's not going to be. It's going to be LaRusso will just go off to like.
That's the idea of it, though, isn't it? To like tie LaRusso's
to another new story,
Mr. Miyagi into the world.
Mr. Han.
Mr. Han, yeah.
Different character. Yeah, that's why I got confused originally.
Listen, I'm with David. Cobra Kai is truly awesome. Carry on, David. You say your piece.
No. I feel like somebody else needs to wax lyrical about it because I feel like I've just come all over it every time I've
Marie.
It.
Jesus.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I was generally surprised about Cobra Kai. Like I first saw it like 2 years ago, and then I binge watched the whole series, and I was just like, okay, this has no right being this good, considering it started off like on YouTube when that was still a thing.
That's what we'll be saying in years to come.
But I do have to say, like, as the seasons go on, it gets more and more ridiculous. And as someone who has a dad who is a black belt in karate, part of me is just like,
Ben's your dad?
But that's the charm of it, Marie. It's
plot twist. No, but part of me is like, that's not how that works and stuff like that. And then all these kids need to have major concussions at this point. I mean, all these fights and like the trauma their bodies go through.
And that one kid was paralyzed for a minute.
Yeah, so, like... and he got over that real quick. He was just.
But that's the power of karate. I don't know if you understand it because you don't actually have a black belt yourself. Like you don't. I didn't. My dad was extremely sexist on that point. But we're moving on that front. My brother took karate. I did not. But he's gotten better a little bit. Anyway,
Jose, Cobra Kai, should it die?
I have not seen one episode, and it's not going to change.
What? Wow. I was not expecting that answer.
I mean, look,
you definitely watched worse stuff than Cobra Kai, man.
Like, have you seen at least the Karate Kid movies?
Oh yeah, I've watched the first 2 Karate Kid movies, and then the one with what's his name?
Swank.
Jackie Chan.
No,
not Hilary
Smith.
Swank. With Jaden Smith, it was fine. A weird ending with that magical kick. But I mean, my sister.
No one cares.
My sister watches Cobra Kai. She's a fan, and I've seen scenes, and I'm just like, this is not for me.
Jose, it is
for me.
Jose, let me say, it is for you. Jose, you just need to watch it, okay? It's for you.
Karate for everyone.
It's for everybody, Jose.
I have to say, it did like blow me away because it was one of those when I like had nothing to watch. I still had Netflix, and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna see this, and what's it about? And I was like,
you know what it was? It was
actually good.
I think I jumped into the deep end too fast when it had already jumped the shark, I guess, because it was like one of the big fights near the end of a season where it had the like.
Who the fuck said it jumped a shark? When? Who said that?
I mean, it just, I'm not saying it jumped. Well, it just gets really ridiculous. I mean, after the school fight, more than one person should have gotten arrested at that point. Like, everyone should have gotten arrested then. Like,
I think I needed to watch it from the beginning to see it.
Yes, you don't come in halfway through. You don't know which allegiance a character's on. They might switch, Jose. Spoiler, they switch every season.
A fucking lot.
Every episode is
every episode.
One thing I do appreciate about the show that it is somewhat self-aware, at least like through like the character of LaRusso's wife, where she's just like crazy karate cult. Of course, like there's a crazy karate cult. Like there's like some like awareness to it of how ridiculous it gets, but it is a fun show. I think it is one of the. So I wouldn't like say do not watch it. It's not like Game of Thrones level jumping the shark. Like it's still good. Like, but it's just.
It's not jumping the shark for me.
The show jumped the shark on the 3rd movie. So you're already into a world of ridiculousness in Karate Kid 3. I mean, even in the second one, like, and this
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
spoiler, where like Mr. Miyagi like chops through a telephone pole with a karate chop to
Oh
save someone's
man.
life.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
jumped the shark way, way, way before the series, and the series was clever because it draws you into a world of like what happens to Johnny Lawrence after this. So the whole thing is about like his redemption, but also like his ridiculous life. So it has to be ridiculous and it has to be like out there. And I mean, you look at like yeah, again, like marginal spoilers. The end of this little block of shows that we've had, where there was another big like fight set piece, which you want in a karate based show. You want lots of karate happening. Um, like you
Within
like it
reason.
gets to a point where you're just like something happens at the end of that, and you're like, yeah, I would have done that thing that you did there like hours ago, hours and hours ago. But don't worry, like also most of the martial arts in that show is not karate. Like it's like
No.
taekwondo and there's kung fu in it now. Like there's like
Yeah.
really, really loads of different styles. So it was never really about it being a show about karate. It was not like a documentary. It's fucking ridiculous, but it's the best kind of karate fun you can have on TV. Full stop. As a second degree black belt, I'm telling you now, it gets the seal of approval.
Oh, you're same level as my dad.
Your dad could probably kick my ass though.
Again, definitely Ben is not Marie's dad. We just make it out there. And Jose, you've got a show called Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Tell us about it.
Yes, I saw the quick teaser trailer and it looks fun. It looks like it's another dimension again. Spider-Man has different web shooters that are actually very big and mechanical. Among other things, Norman Osborn is not white, which is interesting. I think it's going to be fun. I'm a little torn on the fact that he gets his suit that's more streamlined from Norman Osborn, but again, it's another universe, so I can't wait to see what they're going to do with it.
All I can hear all I can hear right now is Sony cash grab, Sony cash grab, Sony cash
Yeah.
grab. Just everything you're saying just sounds to me like hashtag Sony cash grab.
Thanks, Sony Cash Grab. Well, I mean, they need the money after how bad all their Spider-Man and Jason properties have been doing.
I still haven't seen Craven the Hunter. I think it's going to be good.
It's not.
Oh,
Damn
has
it.
anyone actually seen it?
No.
I feel like I
I've
have,
heard
but I
it's
haven't.
better than like Venom
Madame
3.
Web.
Well, it's
Madame
not-
Oh
Web.
man, that's
not
really low
difficult
bar.
to beat.
Anyway, we could talk about rubbish spunk films for ages. Let's move on to White Lotus season 3.
What's that?
It's spunk, right? So the Empire podcast, on this term, there's an acronym for spunk, which means Sony Pictures, Marvel. There's some combination of letters and words that spell out the word spunk, and that's what they refer to all those Sony adjacent films as. I don't know what the words are exactly. Anyway, moving on. White Lotus. That's actually a show that has a lot of this in it as well. White Lotus season 3. Marie, you've just got into White Lotus, I believe.
Yes, I watched the first 3 episodes of season 1 yesterday, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, I
Yes.
binge watched the 3, and I had to like hold myself back to watch the other half. I'll probably finish season 1 after this recording.
Let me tell you, Marie, it only gets better and it only gets gayer.
I'm hoping.
Yes, that's very true.
I'm hoping. I'm really hoping they're like teasing the gay, and it will like bring the gay. Like,
Oh, it's gonna be in your face, gay.
Ben, White Lotus, yes or no?
Never watched it. I'm going to because of this podcast. It's something that dropped on my radar because of our group chats, and it's something that I've sort of kept to one side. But now I've got a bit of time, I'm actually going to go in and watch it. So yeah, looking forward to it.
David.
Yeah, never watched it, and I'm not going to because of this podcast.
I mean, I think it's something you and your wife would enjoy. Like, it's.
It might be. Honestly, the backlog of TV shows we have, because we get like 2 hours each evening at the moment, or 1 hour, like sometimes max. So it's the struggle to get through TV shows at the moment.
You just need 5 TVs.
Yeah.
Back to the Future 2 style, man, watching them all at once.
Yeah.
Jose.
For the
Lotus.
record, David, I think your wife would like this show, but to me, it's
Because he's met her so many times, there's a deep connection with your wife as a friend.
My wife wanted to buy you dinner, Jose, and you didn't turn up.
There's a story behind that. Yeah, I didn't just
Which is on
bail them.
episode. No.
Yes. I'll be honest. The first season was better than the second season. This is not my kind of storytelling. I thought the characters were interesting, but the stories were not as interesting as I thought they could be. To me, it just seemed like boring rich people stories. That's really what I thought. But like, I can see why other people enjoy this show.
Jose, you're being banished to the Phantom Zone now. You're be gone. Put yourself in a little spinny thing. Everyone, make Jose go away.
I'm not doing that.
No, okay.
We're not that mean.
Jose, you're banished. Go away.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Take care, man.
I have to go.
No, you're banished. You don't need to say goodbye.
I have to go work.
Right. So, White Lotus season 3. Marie, I will say that Jennifer Coolidge is an absolute treasure as the show goes on. She becomes a star. Also, there's a brilliant line in the second series, which you would probably get you can probably get it on a t-shirt, where she literally runs out somewhere and goes, "The gays are trying to kill me," which is hilarious.
Oh, she's in season 2. I thought the cast changes every season.
So this is what I love about this show is the idea of the show. It's an anthology show, and each season they will set it in a different location at a different White Lotus resort. So I think season 1 is Hawaii, and season 3 is going to be Thailand. And the only thing the shows really have in common is it's rich white people being dicks to the local people who work there and the people who work there. But there's a character, the massage lady, Natasha Rothwell, Belinda, the spa manager. She is coming into season 3 playing the same character from season 1. But the cast for season 3, and this is what I think, it's become one of the most sought after shows to be in now. So in season 3, you've got Leslie Bibb, Carrie Coon, and Michelle Monaghan playing 3 friends on a girls' weekend. You've got Jason Isaacs in it, and his wife's played by Parker Posey. Parker Posey is definitely going to be the Jennifer Coolidge kind of character. There's a line about her just being drunk and drugs in the trailer. I was like, awesome. Patrick Schwarzenegger's in it because we haven't seen him since Generation V, so he's going to be in it. And the best two, the most unlikely couple ever in the history of TV, the Ghoul, Walton Goggins, and his much, much younger girlfriend, Amy Lou Wood from Sex Education. And she's playing English, she's playing American in it, yeah. And already from the trailer, she's getting all the best reaction shots are her in the trailer. She gets the last one in the trailer. There's a line where I think there's a line in the trailer. He goes, "Yeah, but we almost died," and she's like, "Yeah, but we got the room comp, didn't we, babe?" And you're like, "Yes." She's just gonna. She should be such a bigger star than she is, and she probably will be after this show. Yeah, I can't wait. This is going to be such a good show. And when does it come out? It comes out not long at all, February 16th on HBO. And 8 episodes. So, yes. Oh, also, another reason to keep watching it, Marie, which clearly you're going to do, Aubrey Plaza in season 2 as well.
Yeah. I know about that. Looking forward to that.
David, a show that I know is going to make you very happy again, because I believe this was your show of the year, wasn't it? A few years back? Or was it at the top of your topic? It was very near the top of your list.
We're on to One Piece now, right?
Yes.
Okay, we're on to One Piece.
Spoiler, that is One Piece season 2.
I was getting confused. Yes. No, One Piece, I did genuinely really enjoy it. It was a real surprise package for me. I'd never read any of the... Is it a manga? It's a manga, right?
Manga.
Oh, manga.
Manga?
Yeah,
I don't know how to say words, guys. I'd never read
that. Just ask our Irish fans.
But yeah, I genuinely really liked it, so I'm gonna be excited for season 2. It was just a heartfelt, warming, fun. There's not many fun shows anymore. We need just more fun TV shows.
It was fun, David. I agree with you on that. Also, it is rumored to be coming out at Christmas this year, so you can have a One Piece Christmas present.
I've got to wait an entire fucking year for something awesome to come out.
I mean, there's lots of stuff.
Hopefully, that makes it worth it. I mean,
yeah, they spent. It's like it'll be almost 2 full years then since the last season. So hopefully they've done the work.
Are we going to have that? Are we going to have the issue with One Piece though, where the main character is going to be 30 by the time the show ends?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, at least with One Piece, there's an area of suspension of disbelief. I mean, one is literally a rubber ball. So we can.
Yeah, he doesn't age, David.
So
yeah, okay.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it is interesting because, as I think maybe the only like big anime and manga fan here, One Piece has always been a blind spot for me, just because it's a commitment. It's a commitment, and like Full Metal Alchemist, I think it took me a decade to finish reading Full Metal Alchemist, and that is just a fifth what One Piece is. So that was mainly due to funds, because I could not afford to like buy the manga.
I would just imagine there was 10 years worth of like mangas out there, like
no, I mean
to read in a big giant pile.
I know. I think it's like 102 Like it's not like the level of One Piece, because One Piece is still ongoing. Like it's still releasing. So it's always been like a massive undertaking for me, and starting either the anime or the manga. So that's why I thought, like, usually I go like if there's an animation, I get really like hard on the live action, as with Avatar: The Last Airbender. But with One Piece, I think
Which I thought was great.
Just
Seconds out, round 2. David,
coming
back away
up.
from the
It
screen.
I'm assuming if it's still going, they haven't actually found the One Piece yet.
No. I don't think they ever will. But yeah, well, I really liked the Netflix show, which was really surprising because it was Netflix and adapting a very beloved like manga / anime. So I'm really looking forward to the second season as well.
Ben.
Yeah, phenomenal. But it was my entry into the world of One Piece, and like Avatar: The Last Airbender, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. But you know what? The thing with Avatar: The Last Airbender, just like veering off course really quickly, it made me go and watch all the anime. Like I've done all of it now. I've done
It's
the
technically
adventure.
not anime. Sorry,
What is it?
that's one of the thing that drives me crazy, because anime is Japanese animation and Avatar: The Last Airbender is not Japanese. It was created in
all right.
America.
So I watched
So
the
that's a pet
entire
peeve
of
of
the
mine.
animated series, and
Yeah.
going into like Korra and all that the other lore as well. As like I loved it, all of it. And I think One Piece is the same. Like I've seen like an uptake in like when I walked past the comic book store. There's more One Piece stuff in the window now, as opposed to just being hidden on the shelves. So like I think it's done great things for that particular like world. So yeah, and it was David's right. It was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. Like 10 out of 10 like series making for me. It was great.
See, it didn't jibe with me. I enjoyed it. I watched it from start to
That's because
finish.
you don't like fun, Neil. You don't like fun.
No, apparently not. Apparently not. But I enjoyed it. I watched it, but it didn't. I didn't enjoy it to the levels that you and David did for some reason. Like it was just fine
Told
for
you
me.
why.
Yeah, I don't enjoy fun. But season 2 it is adding 2 new cast members: Joe Magniello, who was going
And
to play,
David.
and David. Yes. How did you know? I mean, it was surprised that David is replacing Jamie Lee Curtis, who was originally cast to be in
Not at all.
the new
I can see
season.
it. He's got range.
No, but instead of Jamie Lee Curtis, who sadly couldn't make it due to scheduling issues, Katie Siegel's replacing her. So if you think Married with Children, and she was the matriarch in Sons of Anarchy, and she was fucking awesome in that. So hey, if you need a good Jamie Lee Curtis replacement, she's very good.
Didn't she do the voice for Leela in Futurama?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
her as well. So
Yeah, she's
bringing her
phenomenal.
into
She's really good.
Now, next up, a show that really shouldn't exist because I don't understand why it does. So it's an anthology horror show called The Terror. Now, season 1 of The Terror was based on a book called The Terror about a missing ship called The Terror. Great. One
It's quite on
season
the
and
nose,
done.
isn't it?
Yeah, right. Then they did a season 2 called The Terror, and it was about Japanese internment camps in World War II.
It's pretty
A very
terrifying.
different kind of terror. Yeah, it was still terrifying. And it didn't really do as well. I didn't get the same kind of level of fame as like the first series. And now they're doing a third series based on a book called Devil in Silver, based on by an author called Victor Lavelle. And I was like, this sounds like a why would you? But then I saw that Dan Stevens is cast in the lead and he's co-producing. And it's about he plays a working class man who gets wrongfully committed to a psychiatric hospital. And there he must contend with patients, doctors, and perhaps even the devil himself. So suddenly I'm in now. I was like, Dan Stevens, mental hospital, potentially the devil. David, that sounds like something you might enjoy.
It does, yeah. No, I've seen this on Shudder, which I think's probably where it's gonna. You've got a question mark on where it's gonna get released in the UK.
Well, it's being made by AMC.
Okay, but I think it releases in Shudder, like in the UK. Anyway, I've seen it on Shudder, and it's been one of those that I've wanted to watch. I've just never got around to it.
Well, it's not out yet.
No, the first 2 seasons of The Terror.
Oh, The Terror, sorry. Got you.
Yeah,
right,
what are we talking about? Did we skip over The Terror? Yeah.
No, that's literally what I was talking about, but I was talking about season 3.
No. So I haven't gotten around to watching the show. But yeah.
Season 1, amazing. Season 2, I haven't seen myself, actually. So, yeah. Ben, are you terrified?
No, not watched it. Not interested.
Fair enough.
Not
Marie.
Not care.
It's probably Dan Stevens, Mental Home.
I mean, no, you know how I am with horror. Like, it's will probably never watch this in my life.
And another show that probably no one's going to watch for the next 2 seasons that it's been commissioned for. The Witcher season 4, or as we're going to call it, the Hemsworth seasons. Maybe, because apparently they are doing 4 and 5, and apparently it's going to cover the last 3 books. But why would you do that when all we've ever wanted from The Witcher was for you to do the storyline from the game, The Wild Hunt, which is literally what you spent 2 seasons setting up, and then even Cavill apparently got fucked off of them, going, look, can you just do the storyline? That's what we signed up for. And the writers going, oh no, we want to do this, we want to do that. Because that was one of the stories that came out when Cavill left it to go back and do Superman. It wasn't just that, oh yeah, I'll go and be Superman again. It was actually, no, these guys are fucking it up left, right, and centre, and I want to be done with it. And also make me God, Lord, Emperor of the Warhammer universe, please, which also has happened. And yeah, I agree with Cavill, man. Like, but here's my thing with the show. Will the fans desert it in droves when you get a lesser Hemsworth replacing the Cavill? I think so. Also, I kind of agree with him. They stayed way too far away from the source material, and they took too long to get to the one main storyline from the games that everyone wanted to see on screen. It's like Halo fucking up, going, "Oh yeah, we're definitely going to get like more seasons. We'll just build up to the flood and all the cool things to people and go, oh no, you didn't. You got cancelled, fuckers." I mean, I stopped watching in season 3 when they announced Cavill was leaving. I was like, well, if he's leaving, I'm not going to bother watching it anymore because it's going to be shit with replacing him. Can it still be good? Does anyone care? Marie, do you care without Cavill?
No, I haven't seen the last season either. Like I did actually really like season 1, and I also really enjoyed season 2. I never played the games, and I haven't read the books either. Because I think the first books, they're short stories, and short stories never really appeal to me. But the fact is, like, yeah, like, but I've of course read all the tension between, because like Henry Cavill is just a massive nerd. It's why I love him so much. Like he's god among nerds, and so like, and like the cast kept like teasing him when he's like pointed out inaccuracies or saying like things that aren't correct, and I'm like, no, because he's literally the target audience of this show. Like, listen to him. He knows
And
like
a producer,
what the fans want.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think he was on that. I think he is going forward now.
For Warhammer, yes,
Oh, okay,
because
yeah.
I think
Sorry.
he would have had more control.
God, Lord Emperor, I believe, of Warhammer.
Like,
he's a Kevin Feige of Warhammer, basically, Cavill.
It's going to be awesome.
yeah. But so it's just bothers me because it had so much potential for being an amazing fantasy show. Like it was always like just scraping at the surface. Like it was almost there, and then they always like fucked it up with a plot point or something like that.
Uninteresting B storylines as well.
Yeah, exactly. And just not getting the characters together as well, like taking it so long. It's so yeah, I am pretty disappointed of how this series turned out. I feel bad for it's Liam, right?
Yeah.
That's his name?
He's fine. He'll be fine.
For taking it over just because he's like filling up, like not even just like the shoes, the bulk. Like Henry Cavill has a certain presence about him, and
no, he'll probably do the work. He's Australian.
I mean, I've seen photos. He does look very diluted. Just compared to Cavill. I mean, it's the Witcher potion did not
the
really take. So yeah,
I wouldn't feel too bad for him. Buckets and buckets of Netflix cash is probably going to make him feel just fine
for the next 2 seasons of the show. That's 2 years. Sorted.
I mean, internet harassment can get really, really nasty. So it's just...
yeah, but you can also just close your laptop
and sit back in your like island that have been paid for by all the money from 2 seasons of middling average,
and send your bigger brother to go beat people up for you. Because let's be honest,
with his hammer,
with his big hammer, yeah, like yeah. Sorry.
So Ben, same. I guess, yeah.
Not bothered whatsoever. Like, sure, great. It was great fun when they were doing it with Henry Cavill, but like everybody I know that's watched
Cavill out,
like,
you're out.
Yeah, but it's also just Netflix again throwing a bunch of money at a thing, and writers going off and doing whatever they want with a story that could have been tremendous. So fuck it, I'm out.
David?
Echo what Marie said. Like 100%. I stopped watching season 3. Didn't finish season 3 at all. I think I watched 1 episode, and then just checked out. And I think the news with the Henry Cavill news that he's leaving, I think like again was the catalyst for me to just stop caring. Although The Witcher 4 is now that I'm excited about.
The game, yeah. So they've announced Witcher 4 the game. which is about a decade since the Witcher 3 game. And it's
Siri
brilliant
is the
'cause
main character, like Siri is the
yeah,
protagonist.
Siri is the main character of the game, and all these little nerds are going, but I don't want to play as a girl. And the rest of it, normal people have been like, fuck off, you nerds.
I was about
Bad
to say,
nerds.
was that why all the basement dwellers were
Yep.
upset like a month ago?
And I'm sure Freya Allen is just sitting there going, brilliant, 10 years' time, job done.
There's no way people were upset watching that trailer. Like it was such a good trailer. The game
The Witcher 3
so
is one of
good.
my all-time favourite games.
Yeah.
I've played it. It's one of the few games I didn't trade. I've got it there. I bought all the DLC for it. I will go back and play it again and again because it's so fucking brilliant and funny. And just you can wander off and suddenly 3 hours later you've got on a bizarre side quest and had to stab a demon
good.
baby. You know, crazy shit like that. Or you just got drunk. You go to investigate something and you get drugged and drunk somewhere and you're tied up in a witch's dungeon somewhere. It's just you never know what's happening
You
next
could
in
just
the game.
go in there and play a game of what's the
Cards.
game called? Yeah, the game of cards.
Gwent.
Yes, just go in there and play a game of Gwent for like 3 hours, and you don't even have to play the actual game. No, I'm really looking forward to the Warhammer TV show that Cavill's going to do next. That I've the last about 6 months, I've gotten really into 40k. I've started playing Necrons, so I'm really and I'm glad I didn't hear any heresy coming from you lot.
I don't know enough about it to have an opinion.
You might as well be talking like Swahili right now. I have no idea what you're saying.
I briefly got into Warhammer when my brother was getting into it, but that's because he.
Yeah, I'm still learning a lot of the lore.
So no pressure, David. You will
but
be our go-to for this.
The Warhammer lore is like fucking huge. It's massive.
Is that like
It's
you
explosive.
at the end of
Yeah.
That was like David at the end of Nosferatu earlier today. Or multiple times within the film. A show that technically came out last year, but it came out on Boxing Day, and therefore no one really had a chance to watch it all in a week before we got to this year. And that is Squid Game Season 2, out now on Netflix. I've done the first 2 episodes so far. I've enjoyed it. I thought the recap was really well done because it's years since we had Season 1. But weirdly, the first episode had such a strangely comedic tone that I was not expecting, and it really threw me off. And I was curious how they're going to get us back to the games again. And literally, the setup is the first 2 episodes, but they really handle it well on how they get all the characters back involved in it again. I'm loving it so far. Well, I'm not loving it, because if I loved it, I would have binged it every night, and I didn't. I'm just like doing one every now and then again, but it hasn't really pulled me in like the first one did as much yet. Squid Game fans, Marie?
I watched season 1. I did enjoy it for what it was, to be honest. But after that, I went into a massive K-drama binge, and I found so many other shows that were better than Squid Game. So now I'm just like meh about it.
You found K-drama Heartstopper, didn't you?
No, I haven't yet.
Well, there you go. There's a challenge. Ben, Squid Game.
Yeah, I've actually watched it all.
And?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
But am I imagining things? The first season wasn't dubbed in English, was it?
It was.
But there's 2 options, mate. There's 2 options.
So I watched it without the first season, and I didn't realize there was an option. So I've watched this season dubbed, and it does take something away from the show a little bit. But it is dubbed really well. It's great. It's not as good as the first season, and it leaves you in a place that I wasn't expecting it to. But yeah, it's a typical second season. They're going to struggle to follow up the success of the first.
But worth watching, worth following through.
But definitely worth watching to the end. The story progresses. There's some really interesting ideas. You see things from different points of view. But yeah, I'm interested for season 3, see how that pans out. But they're probably going to be another 15 years before that happens. So
no, it's coming out this year.
Is it?
Yeah,
rumored? Yeah, end of the year.
Yeah, that's coming out.
That would make sense.
Apparently,
that would make sense of where they left off. Then that's fine. That's fine with me. Carry on. One on Netflix.
I think it's because the creator of the show had no idea what he was going to do for a sequel, and then he was a bit more prepared the second time round. He's like, okay, well, if season 2, then it's a season 3, and then that's what happened. David, Squid Game.
Yeah, I'm on episode 4 at the moment, so I've just finished episode 4, which finished on. Well, they all finished with a cliffhanger, but that finished midway through a game. I need to get watching the next episode. I was really pissed off because it ended at 10:30 at night. And you just want to watch. You just need to fucking watch the next episode. I haven't watched it yet, but no, I like what Ben said. I'm really enjoying it so far, and I like where you're seeing characters, different perspectives. I'm really interested in the North Korean defectors storyline in this season, which is something that they didn't really go into at all in the. Well, they did a tiny bit in the first season, not her, but how the workers are. Anyway.
Nice. Can I have to get back to that then? I'll definitely follow it up now as Ben and David are. We'll have to talk about it as well at some point then. Next up, coming in hopefully late 2025 is a rumour, season 2 of Xmen 97. And it has been confirmed for a 3rd series already. But the problem we're going to have is will it be as good without the writing of Bo DiMeo, who was let go right before season 1 premiered for an incident in the court case that's still ongoing? Marie, we know you loved X-Men 97.
Obviously, I would love to see more of the show because I loved it so much. It was just like the highlight, one of my highlights of last year. Like, it was so good. It had no right being that good, and it was so good.
Ben.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. I loved the season 1. I love where they just like took the ball from the original and then just kept running with it. I thought it was great. Story went to places that I never thought they'd go.
Yeah.
And like
As the
I've heard
kids
that
say,
season
it went hard.
it went hard. It slaps.
It slaps.
Season 2, I've heard that they're going to shift gears slightly and push into the future of the X-Men. So when they're going to rebuild the team and they're going to take from a specific style, like comic style, where like the outfits look like way more futuristic. I think X-Men Days of Future Past as opposed to where it is right now. Which I'm all for. I think that'll be fun and exciting, which means they can bring other characters into it and do some cool stuff for that. So yeah, I think it'll be a laugh. I think it'll be good.
Nice. David.
I never finished the first season. I think I got like 3 episodes in. I told you this in the last episode.
I
Don't
know, but you could have
surprise.
rectified it by then.
You're going to get rectified for not watching it, David. I'll tell you that much. Next up, season 4 of one of our shows of the year every time it comes out, except for this year where it dropped down the list quite a bit. The Bear, season 4. Rumoured for June 2025, and potentially a 5th series, which is rumoured now to be the last series of the show, which I think is about right for the way it's going. It's weird because with The Bear, a lot of people didn't like season 3 as much as the other ones. I thought it was just as good as the previous seasons. I think people didn't like it because it went in the kind of... It did exactly the opposite of what people expected it to do, which if you're trying to be creative in a show that's kind of got a standard format, that's what you need to do. So, having that really slow-paced, meditative first episode, the great use of the Nine Inch Nails music. I mean, the soundtrack was awesome again the whole season. The flashback episodes were brilliant, and I loved it. And we had John Cena Fack. I mean, what more do you want? Marie, yeah, we talked about this on the spoiler special, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm happy for more food porn. I really love this show. I think, yes, it should be winding down soon, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. And yeah, I'm curious to finally find out what the review said, because I don't think we did at the end of the last season. I'm still wondering. So yeah, bring on more The Bear, and of course bring more Jeremy Allen White, because that is a hunk of a man. I'm thirsting over everyone in this episode.
There's so much more to go.
Yeah, I love the show. I think I think I'm excited for season 4 as much as anything else I'm excited for. But it's never been my favorite of the year because it's like I'm more of a sci-fi kind of, like that kind of stuff. So I like fantasy and so that drives my engine. But like this is a solid fucking absolute banger of a show. There's not a single bad person in the cast. There's not a single bad storyline. They don't. It's like it's up there with like Sopranos. Like for me, with that kind of like storytelling and that vibe. So like, yeah, I'm all about season 4. It's gonna be great.
David, have you finished season 3 yet?
Yeah. Me and the wife finished season 2 and 3 about a month ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we binged them both back to back.
And thoughts on season 3?
Yeah, it wasn't as good as season 2 and 1, in my opinion. But it was still really enjoyable. Probably why it dropped down the list, didn't it? In our thing. But no, I just want to hear more creative ways of people saying fuck to each other. I want to see more food porn, and I want to know what that fucking review said.
As do we all. Moving on, a show in its 3rd season comes out on Valentine's Day. And that show is Yellowjackets season 3. Now, this is a Lost-style show of a girls' football team crashes into the wilderness and then crazy shit happens. It had a brilliant, superb season 1. When that season 1 came out, everyone was like, this is the shit. This is like Lost, but done properly, with a bunch of girls in the woods, and like cannibalism potentially, and murder, and witchcraft. And it just threw so much fucking crazy at the wall in every episode, that even the stuff that didn't work, you're like, I don't care, because it's moving on so quickly. And I loved it. And what this show done really well is when you get a show that has lots of flashbacks, and it jumps backwards and forwards between the past and present, usually one timeline's a bit crap, and you'd rather be in the other. In this show, they got both spot on. The younger actresses, it launched the careers of people like Ella Purnell, Sophie Nies, Sophie Thatcher, and then the adult versions of those characters, Melanie Linsky, Juliette Lewis, they were brilliant as well. It had a great 90s, early 2000s soundtrack. I mean, it had Snow Informer in it, for fuck's sake, and Offspring come out and play in finale of season 1. Awesome. Having said that, season 2 was really meandering and like not a lot really happened, bar them adding Elijah Wood to the cast, which was cool, and I hope he does more. So here's hoping season 3 gets us back on track. Marie, I feel like Yellowjackets, you would like it, but also There's the horror.
Yeah, never seen it.
Next up, Ben, a show that you absolutely fucking love. It's coming out on February 20th, and it's the third series based on the seventh book in a series, and that is Reacher Season 3. Yep, Man Mountain Alan Ritchson returns as Lee Charles Jack Reacher for a third season of bone-crunching violence, but in this season, Ben, he meets his match in a guy called Paulie, who is 7'2" and makes Reacher look like a small child. He's played by a bodybuilder called Olivia Richtus. Ben.
I love this show.
I was going to think of a Reacher pun, but I didn't want to.
Okay. Ben, do you want to reach out and take this one? Oh, no, that's terrible.
That'll do.
Really reaching there,
books,
guys.
Oh,
hey!
The books are one of my favorite holiday reads. Like if I'm on a plane or whatever, so the Tom Cruise movies were dire. Put the idea of the books across, but not the character. And then they found Alan Ritchson, and he embodies the character perfectly. I'm really looking forward to this because it's just going to be another Amazon fueled romp through a really well written book. It's for me, it does exactly what it says in the tin. Now I know that last season people were a little bit bummed out because there were too many other people. You get this vigilante, you introduce this vigilante, and then the second season you put them into a team. So people were just a little bit backing off of that. But season 3, the seventh book, is just Reacher and Neely just doing their thing. And I think it's going to be phenomenal again. I mean, that chemistry is great. The acting is fantastic, and the scripting is really, really close to the books. I'm in. I'm all in.
Do you know Neely's getting her own spin-off show?
I didn't know that.
No, you do. There you go.
I might not watch it though, because I don't think it'll be as strong without Reacher.
No, it won't be. Marie, you're our resident anime corner now, person. Okay.
I haven't watched anime in years, so
fair enough. Then this could go very wrong. Tell me about Devil May Cry, because that apparently is being made into an anime that's due on Netflix anytime soon.
I've never heard of it.
Yay! Excellent. That went exactly as I played.
Video game. I played Devil May Cry 4. That's
if it's a video game, then don't come to me.
But I think it was an anime before it was a video game. I'm not sure. I don't know these things. People let us tune in and let us know.
Yeah, I used to be an anime nerd, and then I stopped because of funds.
Next up, a show. Oh dear, it's a Disney Plus show. It's a Marvel adjacent show, and I don't think anyone really cares about it. Maybe Ben. Maybe Ben does. Okay, I might throw to Ben on this one then. That show is Ironheart, and it stars Riri Williams. Well, it features Riri Williams. That Riri Williams is a character, not an actual real person. And she was introduced in Wakanda Forever, and she reverse engineered her own Iron Man suit. But there's really little fanfare about this, and this comes out in June. But so far, there's no trailers, there's no images. Ben, why should we care?
I don't know that it's going to be the show that people think it's going to be. If you've ever read any of the Ironheart comics, they kind of go off again in that Marvel world of some of them are the storylines are straight off the chart bangers. Some of them are a little bit weird, and you don't really want to sort of venture too far down that road. I think it's going to be more of a kids show. I think Marvel have realized that where their strength is now with the shows is to make kids shows and adults movies, and I think that's kind of where they're going to go. And having said that, they are going to bring out the Daredevil shows. And I think when they draw that line in the sand of this is going to be a kid's property, this is going to be an adult's property, I think it's going to be interesting. And you are on the scale of it's either going to be fantastic or bullshit. So I'm hoping for fantastic.
Yeah, I'm always hopeful when it comes to the Marvel stuff. I'm one of the few people who even enjoyed She-Hulk.
I mean, it wasn't as bad. Looking back on it, it wasn't that bad.
Really?
It wasn't great.
It was fun. It was fun.
I couldn't get through it. I just couldn't get through it.
They were only half an hour episodes.
Yeah, and I couldn't get through it.
I know. A lot of people have said that.
But the thing is with She-Hulk, when you've got someone like Deadpool who breaks the fourth wall so perfectly, when they tried to do that, and I think they were taking their lead from the Deadpool movies, I just think they just went too far with it, and it became cheesy and therefore broke the universe they were trying to break the fourth wall on. But that being said, I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to give Ironheart a chance. I'm not going to give it much of a chance, though.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's Marvel. I'll give it a chance. I always give it a chance. You got to be glass half full. Always, man. Next up, a show that on Apple is in its 5th season, which I think makes it probably one of the oldest long feature-running shows on Apple. I don't think any other shows have got to the 5th series. And that is Ronald D. Moore's For All Mankind, which was the retro-futuristic show that starts with in the 60s with what if the Russians put a man on the moon before America? And it was really cool because I was watching it with my parents and they're just like, I don't remember when we put a base on the moon. I went, we haven't. And it was like, but they did such a good job of constructing the reality in the show. And it's the guy who did Battlestar Galactica and Deep Space Nine behind it. So doing this like futuristic. And then what's happened is every season they jump forward about 10 years. So season 5, we are suddenly now in like the 2020s and it's a proper full-on sci-fi show where there's like bases on Mars, but you've still got like the political drama between America and Russia and North Korea going on. So it's like this weird sci-fi political drama mix of a show. And the only thing that's going to make me laugh is Joel Kinnaman is the lead actor in it, and he already looked like Clint Eastwood in the last series. So fuck knows how old they're going to have. The whole budget will go on making him look really fucking infirm this season.
They'll just kill him off. They'll just kill him off at the end of the season, I reckon. Yeah.
They do like to kill off people when they get too old for the makeup to work anymore in this show. But it's really good if you haven't watched it and you like retro futuristic stuff and then stuff that just goes fully futuristic. Also, at the end of every season, they pick an absolute banger of a song. They had Nirvana at the end of one season. They had Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun for like coming up on Mars at the end. Then they had Everyone Wants to Rule the World at one season, which was good and made sense in terms of the show. But yeah, For All Mankind, watch it on Apple, you bastards. There's only 5 seasons, but that is a lot by Apple standards. Next up, I showed this in its 3rd season on Apple. And the densest sci-fi show on TV, that is Foundation, season 3 coming up. And I always say Foundation is like the Dune of TV in the its epic intergalactic scope it has. I couldn't even explain to you what the story is about in the time we have remaining, or even the time we had before this. It would take too long to try and accurately explain what the story is. Even I needed the accompanying podcast for season 1 to go, oh, that's what they were doing in it. So I'd watch the episode and then listen to the podcast, and I loved it even more because of that. And clearly they realised, shit, we probably should explain a lot of this stuff to people because it's so dense, but it's so good. Lee Pace is the lead in the show, and he is amazing, playing multiple versions of himself. Anyone else watch Foundation quickly?
I've not watched it, but I'm making Foundation, the book series, one of my reads for this year.
Okay, awesome. Don't give me any spoilers, but then also watch the show when you're up at the same place. It'll work. Marie, we're thrown to you. It's a vampire show. It's a gay vampire show, but is it a show because I remember on a recent episode, you was a bit sus about this coming season. That show is Interview with a Vampire, season 3.
Yes, succumb to the gayness. I was like, I've been vocal about how I'm hesitant about season 3, but like the photos I've been seeing of it do look cool. I love the ending of season 2. I thought season 2 like was just such good television, and how it ended, it would have wrapped it up in a nice bow. Like literally, like to avoid spoilers, the interview is technically finished, so I don't know where they're gonna go after this. And I don't know the books either, so I don't know if they're like gonna be loyal to the books or not. But I mean, I'm gonna watch it because and I'm hopeful that it's gonna be good and not a disappointment. So yeah, hopefully.
Have you seen the film yet, though?
No, I haven't. I feel like the film would be a disappointment after the show. Like,
it might be, to be fair. I can't remember the film being that gay. Was the film that gay?
No,
it was subtext.
Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise.
Yeah. It was a lot of yeah.
Yeah, that's why settle for subtext when I get the real thing? Like, apparently I think it's on Netflix.
Slogan right there.
Yeah. Apparently I think it's now on Netflix. So like, there's no excuse to not watch Interview with a Vampire. Like, it's really
good.
Yes, thank you, Ben.
The guy doing the interview is my favorite part of it, though. Like his
his dynamic Mass as well. That guy.
Yeah, and he was in something else. But his part of the show is the thing that kept me coming back, because I was just like, I just really loved his dynamic and his like fuck you almost sort of attitude toward the vampire. But that's a really vague kind of overview of what his character is.
Ben, quickly, Slow Horses season 5.
Just watch every single thing Slow Horses is. Just watch it now. It's fucking unreal. Gary Oldman slays. The stories are fantastic. The bad guys are brilliant. It's the best spy drama you're ever going to watch ever in the history of spy dramas. I can't overstate how good this TV show is. That end.
Okay, next up, we're going to talk a show that is in its 4th season now, I believe, and that is Rob McElhenney's Mythic Quest on Apple, which I think is on now as this episode comes out, or if not, very, very soon. Ben, you're a Mythic Quest fan, aren't you?
Oh, this TV show is something special, man. Like, it's like behind the scenes of a huge video game run by a megalomaniacal like creative genius. And it's like it's as funny as always, Sunny in Philadelphia. It's as like heartwarming as I don't know anything you've ever seen before. It's like the COVID episode that they did was truly one of the best parts of that entire pandemic, if there was a best part. They're like they're in touch with themselves. They're self-referential. It's just the cast is like so fantastic. And it's well, like one of my favorite things to watch. So the sheer fact that there's another season of it, I'm very, very excited. The last season was a little bit lacked a little bit of the magic of the previous couple of seasons because of the things that have happened, the split that's happened and stuff in the teams. But the character development, I think they've realized they've overdeveloped some of the characters and they need to rein that kind of back in and bring them back to their source. And I'm hoping that's what they're going to do on this next season, which I didn't realize had already started to air, if that's correct.
It's out as we record this. I believe it is out within a week or two.
Yes. Very
And
excited.
I've got even more exciting information for you, Ben, because once that season finishes, there's a spin-off show that has been made called Side Quest about some characters.
Cool.
Brilliant title for a show, right? And
So
all
good.
4 episodes of that are airing directly in March after Mythic Quest ends.
Oh, perfect.
And
Oh,
yeah,
so
I mean,
good.
all I would say about the show is it's got all like the geek things you can imagine in it. I mean, yeah, behind the scenes of a video game company run by nut jobs, and the fact it's got evil Abid in it. Danny Pudi is in it playing an evil tech guy.
But he's
and
not really
just
evil.
brilliant. No,
He's just the money man.
he's
He's just a complete narcissist. Like he's neither evil or good. He's just in the middle. It's really good.
And you have to mention with this show as well that they have they always do a bottle episode where they'll do a flashback episode. And I mean, I think season 1 they did, and I think it was Christian Milioti in that episode, and the dude from
New
I
girl.
want to say New Girl, and they had their own, and it had nothing to do with anything else in the show, and it was one of the best 40 minutes of TV you would get
Except
that
it
year.
was.
Eventually,
Except
yeah.
it had everything to do, and they dropped Easter eggs for that particular character stuff all the way through it. Fucking genius writing. So good.
Yeah, it's so good, man. Also, Ben, there is not one. Well, there are not just one. We were very excited about Star Trek Strange New World Season 3 coming out this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, best Trek on thing. But what I didn't fucking know is that we have got a new live action Star Trek show coming out. Another one.
Mhm.
I thought this was animated. I had no idea it was live action. And they are finally doing a Starfleet Academy show.
I've known this wasn't going to be live action for a long was going to be live action for a long time because there's been screen grabs and stuff of it like
I had
leaked.
no idea.
So and it looks fantastic and it's the perfect like opportunity for them to introduce new characters to like bring in some old ones and just mix it up. But my concern is Star Trek is always best when it's like villain of the week. And like the overarching like storyline takes a long time to work its way out, which
What's
is
the
what
villain
makes
going to be? Exams?
yeah, exactly right. Like it's like oh no,
How
exam
young is he
stress.
going to go as well in the cast?
I mean, well, they've probably got a certain age before they can join the academy. So, like, who knows? But like the villain of the week thing is really, really important. And like, unless Starfleet Academy itself is going to get attacked by stuff, I don't understand how they're going to feed. Like, you've got a class
Correct.
a class of students. Are they going to send an entire class off on a starship to learn about like what's going on? And they're gonna get attacked, and then I don't know. It's it's problematic, I think, as a show, which is why it's taken so long to develop and why it's taken so long for it to become what it is.
Yeah, because it's been an idea that we've heard for decades. Oh,
It was going to be a video
Starfleet Academy.
game. It was going to be
Yeah.
a fucking a movie. It was going to be a TV. It's going to be
But
everything. You name it.
have you seen the cast though? Joining like the obviously unknown kids that are going to be playing it. You've got Paul Giamatti, Tatiana Maslany, Holly Hunter, and then obviously from other Star Trek shows, you got Tig Notaro in it and Robert Picardo from Discovery and Voyager turning up as the characters from that. So yeah, I can't wait for that, man. And also Strange New World season 3. All I'm going to say is it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. Yeah, yeah. Again, Strange New Worlds, like one of those perfect Star Trek
I think if
pieces
you've never watched
where
Star Trek, that's where you start.
they understand everything that Star Trek
Marie,
used to be.
that's where you watch. That's where you watch. First.
Where Star Trek, what it used to be, and where it is now, and they've really found this like brutally good middle ground. Like it's Captain Pike is like you hear about him in all the other like series and stuff, and you wonder, well, like, why is he such a big deal? Who gives a fuck about Captain Pike, the guy that was Enterprise before Kirk? And then
He's got really good hair.
he's got great hair, and he's funny, and he cooks stuff real well. You know, like it's a
That
great
Marie
it
that
is.
piqued Marie's interest. Wait, a captain who can cook with great hair.
He's got great hair and he can cook. But also the crossover they did with Lower Decks. I mean,
Oh yeah, that's your entry point. The Lower Decks live action crossover.
so good, so good. I haven't got. I can't say enough good things about it.
Ben, I believe you're being summoned to the ether. So before then, the last thing you want to mention is a day of the week.
Yes, I was hoping that more people on our team would be excited by Wednesday season 2, Tim Burton's. Yeah, there we go. David's into it. Marie's
Everyone's
fine.
woken up.
Like,
Yay!
yeah. But the season 1 was so good, so good. It took the idea of the like the Addams family and drew it apart and just gave it a different spin. Like I was like half interested in this when it came out. I was just like, Wednesday Addams, who gives a shit? I'd rather watch something about Thing, like. But all of a sudden, Jenna Ortega's performance was truly outstanding. Tim Burton's like influence
It's the best thing
throughout it
Burton's
was
done in years, isn't it?
easily, and it was like you put in your notes here, Neil, that it was like a modern day Buffy, and I completely agree. Nothing's come close to how perfect Buffy was as a series, apart from this. And it's like, I'm all in for season 2, and I know that they've taken some artistic license with the format this year. Like it's not going to be exactly the same as it was last time. They're going to concentrate more on the detective mystery elements, less on the does Wednesday need a fucking boyfriend, which no, who gives a fuck. So like I'm excited
I
about
bet
that
you
as
money
well,
that
and
was
to,
like General Ortega on the producing side. Was like, yeah, can we just actually give me a storyline that isn't just about
yeah,
boys? And
yeah,
which is great.
yeah,
That's what you want. I think when a Buffy thing, what it does is it's teen drama, supernatural shenanigans, comedy, and actual horror, but all mixed together really well. And it's that wider circle of like friends she has, and like the Scooby Gang thing from Buffy, where like I
yeah,
mean her roommate is brilliant in it. The girl who plays her roommate,
yeah.
it's like the polar opposite of what you would expect.
But what made Buffy really, really good was they used the bad guys as examples of like allegories for like teen drama. So if there was like a heartbreak episode, it would be one, where like a demon steals your heart type thing. Like so they were really
If you
clever
felt
about that. And
invisible,
like,
you turned invisible.
you turned invisible. But like, and like werewolves was almost like
Puberty.
a puberty thing, like so like it was really, really clever.
It was the
So
first show to
like
do that kind of stuff, wasn't it? It really
and it
was.
was, and it made, I mean, it definitely made me feel like seen and a little bit more like safe in that I'm not the only person going through these kind of stuff as a kid. So like watching something like Wednesday gives me hope for like the generation of kids watching Wednesday now and being like, oh, it's all right to be fucking odd and strange and whatever. So like I'm all about it. I think this show is fucking exactly what Netflix needs, and Netflix is the big bad of like TV at the moment. I've heard that they're going to they've told their script writers to write
I've
in
read this
dialogue
myself.
that tells people like that says it describes what they're doing on screen, because people just
I
put
am walking
Netflix
into
on.
this room now and looking
Yeah.
at the window.
I'm picking up a cup. I'm going to drink this tea, because they know that people don't watch it. It's just on in the background. So they're trying to draw people back in. And I just, no, Netflix, come on, sort it out. You had us for a moment, but you're starting to coddle people too much. So this show particularly is one of those things that I think that Netflix just gives it money, leave it alone, and it does its thing.
Well, one thing they've given it for season 2, mate, new cast members: Steve Buscemi, Tando A.
Excellent.
Newton, Billy Piper, Christopher fucking Lloyd, and
Amazing.
Lady Gaga.
All right.
I mean, holy crap! All of them.
Christopher Lloyd is the throwback to the original movies, though, right? Because he was Uncle Fester.
Fuck yeah! I'd completely forgotten that, man.
All
All right, Ben, you are banished. You are banished. You need to be banished.
Peace out. I love you guys. See you soon.
See you later, man.
Don't leave us.
I'd never seen Buffy as well, and it made me want to watch Buffy. Ben, I was 5. I mean, actually, you'd have been younger, to be fair.
Yes, exactly. That's not an excuse.
But I was 5 when Buffy came out, or whatever. I was really. The reason why I've never watched Buffy, there was an episode on TV.
Joss Whedon.
No. There was just an episode on TV. And it scared the fucking shit out of me. I don't know what happened in it or what it was.
Was it a gentleman?
I was about to say, was it the gentleman? Because that still haunts me. I cannot watch that episode.
The silent episode.
There was just something happened in it. I think it was just a regular monster. It wasn't like necessarily a scary episode of Buffy.
Guy in a suit.
But I was 5, Okay, so it scared the shit out of me, and and since then I've just never watched it. Kind of like E.T. I was really brave and watched E.T. for the first time when I was like 22. Similar thing. Don't go there. Don't go there. It was really scary.
Yeah, to be honest, I fucking hate E.T.
I couldn't watch those. The old BT adverts. I used to have to cry for my mum to come in and watch it with me.
E.T. was the first film I ever saw in the cinema, and apparently I was a wreck afterwards. Because, you know, I was basically like the kid in the film. I didn't know it wasn't real. So, like, when they murder E.T., I was apparently in hysterics, and my mum was like, we might have to take him out of the cinema. But apparently I calmed down and I got to see it again. So, yeah, E.T., very special film. But getting back to TV, there's a few things left as people are dropping like flies. This still is not as long as the film podcast, though, people. This is still not as long as that. So we have done well. There is a show coming to Apple called Widow's Bay. And it follows the residents, David, you're going to like this, of a small New England town that seem to be suffering from a curse and a mayor that's trying to get them through it. Okay, small England, we think horror there.
Yep. Sounds like Nosferatu.
It's a mystery series based on a book, but it's been adapted and written by Parks and Rec's team.
I preferred the first half of that.
And the first episode is being directed and has been produced and directed by producers from The Bear and Atlanta. And apparently it's been billed as a half-an-hour horror comedy. I mean, a horror comedy about a curse in a small town. Can you imagine this being like a horror Parks and Rec? But, you know, horror comedy Parks and Rec. I can totally see it, you know, like, you know, this small town, you've got the mayor, you've got all the different things. And I just love the idea of it. Like, I think you could get something really cool out of this. Because how many half-an-hour horror comedies do you get? Like, traditional sitcoms? You don't.
I can't think of a single one.
Exactly.
Is there one?
It's an original idea.
There probably is.
Parks and Rec, Marie, will that make you give it a go? If it's good, if it gets good reviews.
Yeah, I mean, you lost me with horror, but you brought me back in with Parks and Rec. So
this is horror comedy. So I think
you had me with horror and you lost me with Parks and Rec. I think me and Marie aren't compatible.
Yeah. Did anyone watch the next show I'm going to mention? Peacemaker.
Nope.
9.
John Cena with a really good dance sequence. Surprisingly, it was the best John Cena's ever been in anything, to be fair. And they brought Robert Patrick in as his racist dad, and it was very good. Then it went really strange, really, really strange at the end of the series. And like so strange, I was like, they're not going to do a season 2. They've done a season 2, and apparently it's going to be out this time of the year. All I will say is they better not change the opening title dance sequence because it's one of the greatest things ever committed to cinema.
Was James Gunn attached to the first season?
He was showrunner and wrote most of it, and I think he directed all of them, or at least most of them.
So I don't
know how involved.
Nothing to do with season 2.
No, he's apparently still written it. And I don't think he's been able to do as much as he did on the first series, on the second one. But that's he still wanted to be involved, which is why it has taken so long for it to come out as well. A show that we didn't realise has been refilming, but is coming back, Gen V season 2, because obviously, as we mentioned in previous episodes, filming was delayed to the unfortunate death of Chance Perdomo. But they did delay filming by a few months, but it started in May. It finished in October, so that means we're getting season 2 of Gen V this year. So I just suppose it just depends how they write him out of it, sadly, doesn't it?
I really enjoyed the first season of Gen V. I preferred it to the season of The Boys, the last season of The Boys, this first season of Gen V.
It really surprised me.
I suppose you could just say he's been either killed or by people, or he's just gone to another school, or like he's just like there's plenty of ways you can.
Yeah.
I think they did.
But I think they
like
need to be more tactful with it and really
Well, they're not. They were very clear. They're not recasting him, and I think they're not killing him off in universe either. I think they're just like suddenly writing.
So he's transferred to a different school.
Or
it's a simple way.
I mean, he was captured, wasn't he? So transferred to a different Voss Holdings facility.
Right.
Like, because it ends with all. Sorry, spoilers for season 1. But yeah, I really liked season 1. It was one of the ones because spinoffs are always hit and miss. And usually very miss, and I did not expect it to be that good.
Although, I don't know if it's coming out this year, but we're getting a Second Boys spin-off, and we're getting is it set in the 1940s or 50s show with Jensen Ackles and Aya Cash playing Soldier Boy and Stormfront in the Nazi days? So, I
want more Jensen Ackles.
Yeah, I want more Jensen Ackles as well.
He deserves to always be the lead in every show. Just imagine that we lived in a world where he could have been Captain America.
I I was happy with Cap. I mean, I was happy with
yeah,
Captain America.
yeah,
everyone was
Yeah.
Oh yeah, everyone was good. But just imagine.
Also, then we wouldn't have gotten him as Soldier Boy, and him as Soldier
No, we would have
Boy
got Chris Evans.
that wouldn't have worked so well.
No.
You're making me want to watch Supernatural again. Just to...
It's all on Amazon Prime. I started it the other week and I was like, no, this is like, I haven't got that many months to spare to watch all 15 seasons of 22 episodes.
It is a
well.
commitment now, yeah, 100%.
It is a commitment. It's funny because so many people was like, oh, it's a girl show because it's just about two hot brothers. I was like, no, but it's got like all the sci-fi and all the not the sci-fi. It's got all like the horror and the demons.
They do help.
I can't see it. They don't see. Case in point, I've tried watching Supernatural many times. I'm too much of a fraidy cat. I cannot.
It's genuinely very scary in the early seasons as well.
I think this one has the Supernatural had the issue for me of like where you're saying stuff goes a bit mental down the line. Supernatural had that issue for me because like with the beginning one where it's really grounded and it's like the yellow-eyed demon and everything like that. That's really interesting. But then like literal gods become involved in it and angels and like it gets a bit like okay. Well.
And angels are usually dicks in it as well. That was what was funny. But the problem with Supernatural is Eric Kripke, who does The Boys as well, he had a 5-season arc for the show and he got to do it. And then he's like, right, I'm done. The show's finished. And I was like, no.
That's where I finished it.
Yeah.
I haven't watched past 6.
You tapped out at the perfect time because there'll always be brilliant episodes in every season, but just overall, it never recaptured, even came close. But the contract, I mean, I suppose if you're the actor and you're like, hey, we've got a show that we've got a 15-year job as an actor. That's pretty solid, man. And like, up in Vancouver for a few months and you can do a film in the summer.
Poker face, poker face. No.
Brilliant segue, David. Anyone familiar with the show, Poker Face?
No, I just wanted to sing the song.
That's absolutely fine, David. No,
Moving
so
on.
Natasha... No, it's good. It's a good show. Wait until you hear who's in it. So Natasha Lyonne is a casino worker. We're almost there. Natasha Lyonne is a casino worker who can tell if someone's lying, but she's on the run from the mob. And each week she gets involved in serving murders wherever she turns up. So it's like an old-fashioned police procedural. And yet, I don't usually like those type of shows where it's like case of the week and nothing really happens and moves the plot forward. But Rian Johnson produced it. So everyone's like, oh, Knives Out guy. Okay, we'll give it a watch. Everyone loves Natasha Lyonne. She's always great and stuff. And every week there's a different guest murderer villain in it. And for season 2, you have got Katie Holmes, Cynthia Erivo, Giancarlo Esposito, Kumail Nanjiani, John Mulaney, Aquafina, and just so many other people. That's it. Watch it. It's quite good. If you like, it's a perfect show to put on in the background when you're not like really worrying, concentrating about stuff. And it's a really easy watch.
Don't say that. We just bashed Netflix for doing that. Like, people should pay attention to what they're watching.
Mm-hmm.
But it's on Peacock, so I don't know where we even get it in the UK. Oh, Paramount Plus.
That Netflix thing that Ben mentioned, by the way,
ridiculous.
is mental. I mean, I hope they cancel those shows.
They won't. I mean, we're like 6 seasons of Emily in Paris garbage, and like they cancel all the good ones.
They showed a show so bad that even the writer was like,
a colleague at work loves it. Though she loves it. She watches it all the time, like back to back.
Oh yeah, it's popular, but
it's definitely popular, but also as like an expat, I find it insulting.
Next up, a show that I knew nothing about. Disney Plus comes in March, and it is a Victorian boxing drama starring Stephen Graham. And the look of disgust or just weird, like I don't know what the hell's going on. Victorian boxing drama, yeah, but it stars Stephen Graham, who is one of the UK's finest actors, who isn't really that big in the States, even though he's been in loads of stuff in smaller roles. I'm going to watch that because it sounds amazing. Boxing,
what
Victorian?
Did you say it was called?
1,000 Blows. Stephen Graham, boxing, Victorian times.
Yeah, no, I probably won't watch that.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Next up, a show that I know David's definitely going to watch, and hopefully it's going to have a better season than its second series, which was cut in the middle and just killed any momentum it was going.
Did you say I'm definitely going to watch it?
Yeah.
Because I definitely won't.
What? Invincible season 3?
Oh, I will watch it. Okay.
Yeah. Plot twist.
Yeah, I will watch it.
Do you know when it's out though, David?
9.
No, I've got good news for you, David. It's out in a matter of weeks. It's out in February.
Oh shit!
Oh, I did not
That's
know it was
so
that
soon.
soon. Yeah.
One whole season, right? This time.
Yeah, they've even made. Did you not see the?
Yeah,
teaser?
I did.
The teaser was good.
They took the piss out of it.
That was. If they can get that level of like creativity to the whole season, then yeah, we're in safe hands again. And finally, a show. My only note next to this says how and why. for some reason, we have season 3 of one of your book series, David, that you read a lot of, and it's still creeping on like a corpse, like how most of us feel at the end of this episode now.
I
It's
think
been a while.
I haven't read that much of it. I need to read more of it, to be fair.
Right.
You don't. You can tap out. There's better fantasy in the world.
No, I want to finish it because I'm invested now, so I need to finish it.
So was the author, and he died. He died, David. Yes, dear listener, dear viewer, we are talking about season 3, for some reason, of The Wheel of Time on Prime, which comes out in March.
Yeah, I stopped watching after season 1. Apparently, season 2 was much better. I didn't like how they adapted season 1, so I just didn't want to watch anymore. And that's where I'm at with it. Although I'm at Lord of Chaos,
Which is book number
6. But look at the cover art.
It's very stereotypical 90s fantasy.
It is. I love it. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, right. I feel like I need to jump in here. I even made a note. Because like I didn't know anything about season 3 until they dropped the trailer, and I was like, shit, it's actually happening. I do agree, like that season 2 was way better than season 1, and then they fucked it up in the end. I could do a whole podcast episode of Wheel of Time. I have read all the books, and I am not precious about the series as like most fans. Like I don't think it even scratches my top 10 fantasy books of all times. But obviously, because like obviously I can tell why this is such a beloved series. But I'm someone who really struggled with the slog, and also Robert Jordan's writing style got very repetitive, and you do not want that after 14 books. But the show, it's frustrating because somewhere in there is a good show. They have moments. Where I'm just like, yes, okay, that's Wheel of Time. You nailed it. They had it with Egwene's story in season 2. Egwene's story was phenomenal until they fucked it up in the end. And it's
Don't tell me yet, because I may go back to it now.
I'm not going to tell you, but
Okay.
That was so good. But then there were like so many elements where they just like go off. And it's so frustrating because literally all they need to do to make the show work is listen to Brandon Sanderson, and they do not. And it drives me crazy. And I don't know, like, if you're not going to watch the next season, David, Brandon Sanderson did a live reaction to the final episode of season 2 with 2 other
Is this on his
booktubers.
podcast?
It's on his YouTube channel. Yeah.
Who are the booktubers?
It was Daniel Green,
who's
a massive Wheel of Time book
I
tuber,
know
and
the one.
Matt from the Dusty Wheel, who's also...
I don't know him. I know Daniel Green, yeah.
Yeah, and they did like a live reaction in Brandon Sanderson's home cinema, because obviously he has one. And it was...
David's bought a lot of his books.
It was so funny. It was so funny because it reaches a moment where, because obviously Brandon hadn't seen any of the seasons, but he saw the script. And so the two, like Matt and Daniel, just get a face, and Brandon just goes, I really tried, guys. I really fucking tried. Like, I really tried, because it just it had like a jumping shark moment, and like he's like, I really tried, guys. I'm really sorry. I really tried. And then he also goes on to explaining why that plot twist doesn't work, and it's like, yes, you're correct. You're absolutely correct. And
I need to watch this now. I'm gonna find this bit. Can you?
Wait for us to finish the episode, David.
Let's finish the episode, but it's really funny, and you don't actually see the episode as well, because so it's just their reaction. But it's such a good video, and so it's so frustrating because, and I think it's down to the writers, because the cast is amazing. No one in this cast no one is miscast, in my opinion. The cast is really good. The production design is phenomenal. The costumes are there. I'm quite against the Aes Sedai wearing their colors. I think they make it very obvious that they're Aes Sedai. I know that's kind of a thing in the book, but it's just, they're supposed to blend in, and then they're like, okay, you're red, you're green. Anyway, that's just a costume design rant on my side.
What I would say with me is, in the Weird Time, is I loved the first 3 books. I thought they were amazing. And then I when I got to like 4, 5, and I think maybe 6 is where I tapped out. I just got so
4
bored.
was the best one for me, though.
Well, I might have. They all blended into one. And at that point, what annoyed me was, it's a standard fantasy thing, as you've created this amazing world, this great place to play in with all the characters, and it just there was no plot. It was just all description. There was
But
chapter after chapter about food, and I know that's what a lot of the fantasy stuff is, but there was too much of it. The books just slowed so down for me.
I think, but that's the thing. It does come together in the end, and that's what Robert Jordan does. He lays breadcrumbs throughout the books, and that is something that the writers of the show do not understand. Especially like they did a change in season 2, which was such a small one. Like people would like, why? But it's like, no, because that comes back in like book 8. So like making this change now it's really ridiculous.
I mean, if you're a writer on that show, you must just be like, look, how many seasons are we getting? Because we can't just bullshit our way through this. We need to know the definitive endpoint so we can amalgamate books into one season.
It's like Anderson.
Yeah, I think
the
if you go off him, yeah,
the frustrating thing about this is that we're never going to get a Mistborn / Cosmere adaptation because he's having such a bad time dealing with the studios, and it's not even his story. Because we were meant to get something, and it was announced because like
he cancelled it, didn't he?
Yeah, Sanderson was in talks in studios, and it was cancelled like at the end, like last year. It was not happening.
Speaking of not happening, I believe that is a good place to draw the line under our Wheel of Time season 2 and 3 podcast. Yeah, I think that about rounds us off. We talked a lot of TV show. We talked all the TV shows. I think actually we didn't talk all the TV shows because we ran out of time. Even with the podcast being over 3 hours.
We didn't mention Your Friends and Neighbours. We didn't mention The Studio. We didn't mention Saturday Night Live. We didn't mention The Pit. We didn't mention It's Always Sunny, seasons 17 and 18. We didn't mention The Paper.
That's how you do it.
Thank you, David, because I'd lost the will to live at that point. Right, so I think that about rounds us off for our 2025 TV preview. Obviously, we can't cover everything, but I think we gave it a fucking good go there, if I'm honest. And hopefully we got you excited about some of the year's big releases and some shows you didn't even know exist, like some of us here on the panel ourselves. And firstly, I'd like to thank who's left. David.
We're still here. The survivors.
So before we finish, let's give you our picks. Well, those of us that are left, because we had 2 part-timers who like clocked in and clocked out. Okay, they got real jobs. That's fine. David, what are your picks for stuff that we've talked about that you were most interested in seeing this year?
Of Cobra Kai finale, the Dunkin' Egg, if it does come out this year, and
it will,
and also The Last of Us season 2. There we go.
Of course,
and Welcome to Derry, little an honourable mention.
Okay, Marie. Interview with a Vampire season 3 and
actually no. I have Last of Us season 2, Severance season 2, of course.
Yes.
And obviously Murderbot, which we could have listened to during the duration of this episode. Like we could have read all of Murderbot.
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I really don't. And my picks, I couldn't pick only 3. So I said Andor season 2, Severance season 2, Strange New Worlds season 3, Foundation season 3, and The Bear season 4.
That wasn't the game, Neil. You had to pick 3.
No, I just said shows. I didn't mention 3 at all in yours, David. I just said, pick stuff you like.
Okay.
Right. Well, I think that about rounds us off for our 2025 TV season preview. We talked all the shows, so many shows that 2 of our co-hosts came and left during the podcast because this podcast went on so long, despite it being shorter than our previous episode.
I
know. I didn't realize that we could just turn up and leave whenever we wanted.
Oh no, you can't.
That option was not presented to us.
You two, no.
He has a chain to the microphone, people.
Yeah, pretty much. That's them the rules. So, David, I'd like to thank you for wading through. You've done very well, even if you did get refreshments brought to you in the form of a muffin and a glass of milk in the podcast.
Yeah, thank you, Neil, for doing all the research again behind it all.
There was a lot. There was a lot of copy and pasting from Wikipedia this time, and then fact checking it because a lot of it was wrong. Marie, I'd like to thank you for just powering through and.
Yeah, I did not get refreshments brought to me. I'm starving. I'm getting hungry again.
I am so hungry. I mean, I finished my can.
Do you guys not have dinner beforehand? You gotta be tactical about this, guys.
I did. I had
to be tactical.
Did you not see
the?
But you know what's gonna happen. He'll say, "Oh, it'll be an hour, guys. It's fine. It won't."
I would never say it'll be an hour unless it's one of your quiz episodes, David.
which was only meant to be half an hour. And it's
Yeah, but I figured. Hey, look, this was shorter than the last one. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the We Need Roads podcast, wherever you listen on your podcast platform of choice. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, and hopefully be watching us on YouTube. If you've been watching us on Spotify, you can now see us as well. We have video episodes up there, which is cool. And also, if you've been following us on YouTube, give us a subscribe, give us a like, and a shout out over to Luke at the Howdy Beans podcast for interacting with us and giving us a comment on every episode we post. And we need to have you on the pod sometime soon, Luke. If you've been watching on YouTube, don't forget to leave us a comment or 10 and subscribe so we can eventually buy an English cup of tea and retire rich podcast billionaires. Finally, where can we find everyone on the socials? Marie, where are you? Mentally and emotionally right now.
Mentally and emotionally, I'm dreaming of emotional support donuts. But you can find me under the handle Life on Mars, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you want more of this, I don't know why, you could also find me over on the Two Girls, One Reusable Cup podcast.
Would you say this episode has been as long as all the episodes you put out for Two Girls, One Reusable Cup in the last year?
Well, we don't have many, so maybe.
David, where can people find you to abuse you and send you nice messages on the
You can send me nice messages on the We Need Roads Instagram account, Neil. And I'm also on Blue Sky, because I deleted
with the
Twitter.
problematic name?
Long D, Blue Sky. It's my name, guys.
It sounds like a pirate.
It's
pirate. If you was a pirate and our flag means death, that would be your name.
There's two L's in long as well, just so it's LLONGD.
To make it more street.
That's to emphasize the length.
And finally,
Sorry,
you can
Marie.
find me.
Sorry.
Finally, you can find me at Needed Roads on Twitter and at NeilG78 on Blue Sky. Right, dear listener, dear viewer, if you've stayed with us this long, you've done better than 2/3 of the podcast because they've come in and they buggered off as well. Right, I'm off to see all the films because it's still January, I hope, when this episode comes out. I'm off to see Baby Girl, I'm off to see a re-release of Seven, a preview screening of Saturday Night, a secret screening, and a secret screaming before the month's out. See you next time, folks.
We Needed Roads.
What are you looking at, butthead?